Okay, hello. Welcome to season 5 of Legends of Runeterra. I'm Remake. I'm here joined by MTug, the number one Masters player currently in the NA. How are you today?
I'm doing good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing good actually. What I really want to talk about today is the top 8 players. So, what are you surprised about, and what are you disappointed about with like the performances of players like today, just in terms of like reaching top 8?
Well, we had a list of some predictions, and I won't go over too much of the predictions right
Okay.
now. But yeah,
Oh
I
yeah,
was pretty happy to see I got some of these right. I know we talked about Asher probably getting in, Deech probably
yeah.
getting in because he's a known BR player. Um, Softy was like always really well represented, but we definitely have some new names in here as well that I thought was really interesting. I don't personally know if I've ever seen Jenna or Tandy or Cypher
Oh yeah.
in.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up as well. I've not seen Cypher. I've not seen I'm Jenna, and I've not seen Tandy. But I think Jenna, the name looks familiar, but I don't think they've ever played. I'm not sure if they are from NA or they are from EU. So let me just have a quick look. So you have Cypher, who's from EU. No, Cypher's from America, and the rest are actually from Europe. I've never actually seen them like on the Discord at all, so that's actually going to be really fun to cast their games. So
Mhm.
I know we're casting Jenna today versus Aisha as the first matchup. Now, how do you think that's going to go based on their decks?
I think it's really interesting. I know we have a couple decks to talk about, but just real quick for everyone listening, I'll go through their lineups real quick. So for Asher, he's bringing a Leona Lux deck with a bit of an Aesol kind of hanging out there. Uh, we've got Trundle Tryndamere, which should be being shown on the screen, which we'll talk about here in a minute, with the Ionia Splash opposed to the SI. So it'll be fun to watch. And then a fairly standard Go Hard list, but with a very unstandard Dreadway. So that'll be fun to watch too.
Oh yeah,
And
that's what.
then, did you want to talk about
I don't know. I think
Jazz?
like yeah, they're both running a bit like the two go hard decks. But one thing like is noticeable is that you have the one Crucible in the deck, and the other one doesn't. I'm not sure like how much that really how powerful that is, like what that's gonna turn, but it's actually gonna be like as like a top deck, what that can actually do, some like hijinks. That's actually gonna be pretty funny to watch. This is the only thing I do find a bit awkward in Asia's like go hard deck is the Dreadway. It just feels a bit awkwardly placed in that deck. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a bit interesting. I know I brought it in the seasonal, and like I brought a Dreadway, and it never won me game, it never lost me games. It just kind of was a card. So we'll see how that goes. I do know that I believe currently Curious is showing the Trundle Tryndamere list, so you might want to chat about kind of that list so that everyone can kind of see it. Um,
But yeah,
yeah,
so we have the
go ahead.
Trundle Tryndamere list at the moment. I actually like it. The Troll Scavenger as well. And one thing really importantly, it's not the Freljord Shadow Wilds, it's the Freljord Ionia. That means we do get to see the Swiftfoot, which is actually one of my favorite cards. It got a really lovely quick attack boost. That was an incredible like buff to that unit. I think that's some really good hijinks in there. That's a really impressive card. I like it.
Yeah, I know. I know I personally brought this, not this exact list, but a similar version to Fight Night a while ago, and it's a really fun deck. When prepping for Fight Night, I practiced this on ladder for maybe 100 games, and it it's a fun deck to play. It has super polarized matchups. You destroy anything that goes late, and you kind of hard fold to a lot of aggro decks. So it's a bit of a risk to bring, but when it pops off, it feels great.
Yeah, the thing is, if you're Asia now, what do you actually ban on I'm Jenna's side? Because the thing is, if you kind of want to run your Ionia deck, you kind of want to ban the other Ionia deck, Demacia Ionia, because like, there's a lot of notifies and a lot of denies in that deck.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's for sure. I know, at least referring to Jenna's lineup, just to give everybody some information. We've got for Jenna, we've got at least Twisted Fate go hard, so no Gangplank. We've got Draven Ezreal, a fairly standard list, and then we got Fiora Shen as well. Um, and the Fiora Shen is teched a bit interesting. So because we do have to talk about, are we gonna ban the Fiora Shen, or are we not gonna ban the Fiora Shen? Um,
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking about. If you're like kind of running that Ionia deck and you kind of want that like Swiftfoot hijinks, you kind of need to ban like the Demacia Ionia. You need to take out Fiora Shen. It's like they're just gonna deny that, so it's gonna be really difficult to play your cards in that aspect. if you're kind of not running it. I guess you can deny, but I feel like you kind of want to ban this deck, but then what do you want to run it in? Because I feel like your Draven Ezreal can have pretty good matches, and I feel like it might run into some issues with the Go Hard deck that Jen is running.
I will say, coming from like at least looking at it from Jenna's perspective, Jenna's gonna have like really good matchups into probably honestly like decent matchups into Go Hard. Draven Ezreal, although is unfavored in that matchup, it's not, at least depending on who you talk to, it's not horribly unfavored. It's probably around 40-60. But his other two decks, like is a 50-50 and then a heavy tech version of Fiora Shen with the 2 Nopify, and then just like double Brightsteel, double Cythria, like that is a heavy tech version for the Go Hard matchup. It can go late, it can stay early, it has the Nopify, like I said, like it's ready to go up against Go Hard. So
yeah, I really like it. This is the kind of thing, like if you're Jenna at the moment, do you feel like you want to ban like the Targan, the Marcy deck? You know, he's bringing the Leona, he's bringing the Lux, he's bringing the Assault. Can you really deal with that with your lineups at the moment, like what Jenna's got?
So I think the Shen deck would do okay into it. It wouldn't be horrible. It wouldn't be great either. It would probably be 50-50.
Yeah.
The Draven Ezreal, that's a really hard one. I know I've played a lot with this Lex deck. It's the deck I use primarily to get through Diamond to get to Masters. And I only ran into one Draven Ezreal, so I don't really know that matchup too well. I can't comment much on it. I would assume Draven Ezreal would be favored if played well, because as long as you can get like one good guillotine off, it's pretty solid.
Yeah, it's the thing in that. What is important to know is Aish is actually running like he's running the Grand Plaza, which is like that's going to be really good and really devastating to Draven Ezreal as well. Oh wait, we've actually just jumped into our matchup right now, so we're actually going to see what is being played. So we're on Aisha's side at the moment, and we're actually going to see what's being played. Okay, so what do you want to keep in this lineup? Like, what screams to you like this is going to give me a favorable matchup?
So in this matchup, you definitely need a board wipe from Aisha's perspective, because like this Icequake might actually be a keep. That's a really interesting mulligan. See, if I was Aisha there, I would have kept the Icequake and probably mulled everything else, because you have really high odds to get into Field Rush later. And you really need a board wipe that does 3 damage across, because every one of them.
I kind of get what you're saying. Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying with that, especially getting the mulligan and getting another Feel the Rush isn't great at all. I completely agree with you. You should have kept the Icequake in that one. That was a no-brainer. 100% should have kept it. It's kind of moment right now.
This is kind of the awkward side of the Field of Mino deck. You're sitting here and you're like, all right, well, if we get to turn 9, I win.
Yeah, but it's like, how are you going to get there? You've got this Ezreal right now. Now, what are you going to do? Okay, getting the Avalanche, it's not a bad card. Do you keep it or do you Frostbite it? See if he opens tonight. Okay, it's actually not looking good. That's actually a lot of damage coming out right now.
This is why I said the Icequake is really good in this specific matchup. Usually Avalanche is fine, but Draven Ezreal has pretty much only 3 health units outside of House Spiders. So having that ability to just do a 3 damage across the board is super crucial in this matchup.
Yeah, so you kind of have to use Flash Freeze there. Yes, I mean, you could have dropped it on the 4-3 if you wanted to, but I guess that's okay. Okay, you do have your Tondo unit. You can drop it if you want, get a nice unit on the board, but okay, no, doesn't opt for it. That's fine.
I actually agree with this play from Asher. He's got a hand that says, if I get to turn 9, I win. And so I think like making the play of I need to get there as soon as I possibly can. Let's go ahead and just push it, take some damage next turn, and win the game the turn after. Because what's going to happen now is he can play Field Rush on his next turn.
Yeah, I kind of like that as well. That's actually really good. Like a big brain play from him. And it's like Jen is just gonna okay, that's an interesting move. I like it. You still have enough 3 mana for the Field the Rush as well. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it keeps it out of burn range as well. Because like the thing is, if he just took this and didn't do anything, then he'd be sitting on 8 health, and theoretically there are burn hands that can burn you out through, even though you have these big units that can, destroy a Nexus. If they have burn, they have burn. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. The thing is, right now, what do you want to play on turn 9? Do you want to play Swiftfoot or do you want to play Feel the Rush?
That's actually a really hard decision.
Yeah.
Because you don't have fast speed answers to the next attack. If you play Mina, or if you play Feel the Rush, like you will get in for, he'll chump block maybe the Trundle and eat the damage from the Tryndamere, but because you don't have Atrocity, he can take some damage there.
Yeah, and I
but you
guess
don't have a way to deal with the attack the next turn.
Yeah, the thing is, even if you drop Swiftfoot in the next turn, those are so low cost units, you could just bring them all back in one turn.
They could, but look at his hand size, right? If he feels the Minas right here, like they're all dying.
Okay, he drops Feel the Rush. I like it. Better than dropping Swiftfoot.
Yeah, I do think this is the correct play, but I could see the reasoning for thinking. So the thing you have to really be mindful here from Astra's side is Guillotine. Like, that is a just super punishing card.
Absolutely. I feel like if you drop that card now, like, ooh, okay, coming out with an Avarician Sentry, that's not bad. I guess. Okay. I kind of feel like if he, like, he's not blocking the Tryndamere, it kind of shouts that he has a Noxian Guillotine in hand.
I personally don't think you even needed to attack as Asher, because your attack where you have Flip Trundle is going to do more than 20 damage.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. I don't know why he maybe it was a misclick, but yeah, he definitely should have gone for blocking the selling the Tryndamere. I can only see the only way he would have done it if he had Noxian Guillotine or Scorched Earth. Okay, grabbing a flip, okay.
So it looks like he's setting up a guillotine here. He's going to guillotine both units.
Yeah, it's a really good play, and I like it.
Yep, and this makes it so Tryndamere will now be flipped, and I believe Ezreal is really close to flipping either, because this was four hits on just this turn, 4 targets.
Yeah, and the thing is, right now, if you're Asher, how do you come back in this game? Like, what in your hand screams like, okay, this card's gonna win me the game? Because right now, looking at his deck, I'm having a really hard time figuring what that's gonna be.
So either a fast speed answer to an attack, which Deny unfortunately is not one. But if your opponent can't develop, which is like a really nice thing. Like let's say he plays fair in here, you then play Mina and you basically win the game. So the Mina threat, even if you're not playing it, does require your opponent to respect it.
Yeah, kind of get what you mean. Okay, yeah, okay, that really sets you up for a really nice Swiftfoot. I like it.
The one awkward thing here about playing Mina, and this might be why it's actually Avalanche, we'll see, is because if you play Mina here, you have to put a spider back into his hand, and then he can just stun your Mina.
Oh yeah, that's actually not great at all. Like, yeah, you're kind of right with what you're saying. You have 2 Avalanches in hand. Use it now to get some board control.
Yeah, I don't hate Avalanche here at all. It makes it so your opponent is only going to get 4 damage in at the moment. And if he redevelops, then you can play your second Avalanche and clear the Ezreal. And you're not really afraid of your Tryndamere dying because you have second Feel the Rush.
Yeah, so that's not bad at all. Yeah, let's see what he does now. Oh, coming up with...
Wow, is that 9? Is that a 9 stacked? Did I see that correctly?
I'm not sure. You might have. That's actually the flat. Oh, it actually is as well.
That is a 9 stack. That's crazy. You have to deny that, because if that pulls like a Ladros, like...
Yeah, it's actually game over at that point. So he comes in, but he can't use the Fleeting Mystic Shot. It's 4 damage, still not what you want, and it's putting you in quite pretty clear lethal range at the moment.
The second Feel the Rush might not actually kill, which is the scary thing.
The thing is, like, yeah, do you want to just put down Pillar and then kind of just bait out your Swiftfoot? Because it kind of might just be too obvious at that point.
It's really tricky, because if your opponent has any way to kill this, that's really... Okay, so he's flipping Ezreal, that's what that is.
Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of like, I didn't know Ezreal was that close to leveling up. And I was like, what's he doing?
But yeah, if you as Asher here, if you play Field Rush, you lose if your opponent has second guillotine, because then only thing that is actually getting through is one Tryndamere attack, and then you can chump block the Trundle.
Yeah, kind of the thing is right now he has to find a way to like pose or threaten lethal, and I feel like the only way you can do that is if you drop pillar this game.
Yeah, I think it has to be pillar here. Specifically also because Ezreal's flipped, you kind of really want to hold on to that catalyst if you can. This is the really awkward spot where you need to both not die to Ezreal and kill him.
Yeah, it's kind of like this entire game, Asher's just been playing catch up right now with Jenna, and I like it. It's been dictating the whole course of the game. And I really think getting rid of that Icequake was a really big mistake, because we could be watching a completely different game right now.
Like, picture the turn he avalanched. If instead of an avalanche, it was an Icequake, there wouldn't be an Ezreal and there wouldn't be a Draven.
Yeah, I do think it's a mistake. I mean, you can still win. It's possible if he doesn't have like the right cards in hand. But right now, this is pretty much Jan's game. It's his game to win. It's his game to lose. What's he gonna do?
Yeah, it heavily depends on how many spells is in Jenna's hand. When we say Jenna, we mean Echo in this match.
Yeah, it's just okay. He knows what's coming. Like you can tell he knows. You kind of have to drop it now.
Yep, I think that pass back was really smart.
Yeah,
he's in a spot where he can just pass back, because if Asher now passes back and hands the turn back to Jenna/Echo, like Echo's fine. Like, cool, I can swing with my Ezreal and win the game.
Okay, decides to go with the Avalanche. I think that's nice, because then you can still have Cadlance to prevent lethal, so it's nice.
Yep, I think that's a really heads-up play from Asher. It forces the Ezreal to go for lethal now if he doesn't have second Ezreal.
The thing is, if he's kind of going for lethal now, like, it's tricky. It's tricky. It really is.
He lets it through.
Okay, so he lets it go through. Okay, that kind of just screams I have a second Ezreal in my hand.
That or Farron here. Either one does really well here.
That it would not be great either. Oh yeah, there comes Captain Farron.
I'm wondering if the correct sequencing there from Asher would have actually been the Avalanche first, before playing the Pillar, because you would have still had Pillar mana.
I kind of get where you're coming. Just like at this point, yeah, like what can you do at this point? Like there's nothing, right? There's like yeah.
Because doing it how I just mentioned it would allow you to do is that play Pillar now, and then you can swing your Pillar into Baron.
Follow my blade.
So I believe, let me look at Asher's deck real quick. So he is running 3 concussive ball. So he does have a really solid top deck here. Interesting, he eats it. He doesn't eat the damage. That's really interesting. So deny a second catalyst. Actually, yeah, no, currently Asher is out of, Asher is currently fine. He's out of lethal ranges.
Yeah, I was kind of curious he chose to defend that, because like you're not playing into a Shadow Isles deck, so you don't have to worry about any atrocity coming through.
Yep, I think the right play there would have been to eat the Tryndamere damage and then to swing on to the Pillar with Baron, but at the same time, like you do have to consider he hasn't played a poem yet, and he has 3 in deck.
I feel like what do you do? Do you just want to play a Pillar here, play it safe?
Yeah, I think it has to be.
Yeah. You have the deny in hand as well.
You have the deny, which is big, but I will say second Ezra here might seal the deal. It heavily depends on what spells Echo/Jenna has in hand.
Yeah, because the thing at the moment, he can play 1 Noxie and Guillotine.
Yep, and that one will get denied.
Come on.
I think Pillar here has to be correct.
Yeah, yeah, it kind of does have to. Yeah, that's definitely right. Okay, no, it goes for the Swiftfoot. That's, I mean, you still have the deny in hand as well, so I kind of get why he's doing it. I get it's playing it smart, but it makes it a bit too obvious that you have deny in hand.
It is interesting. It forces the Ezreal player to redevelop Ezreal, which would put him down to 5 mana.
Take forever, why don't you?
Which is not something I like because he still hasn't attacked yet.
Yeah, that's why. Like, it's a bit interesting. I don't. It's hard line to be completely fair. So we're just looking here to see what the Ezreal player is going to do.
Let's see. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think that's round 1.
Firing.
Yeah, now all he needs to do now at the moment is redevelop.
Could be. If he redevelops Ezreal... Yeah, you're correct. If he redevelops Ezreal swings, and then Asher denies the Mystic Shot, and then there has to be one more spell in...
Yeah, they kind of have to be. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I like that he did that, and I like that he didn't try to just go for Noxie Guillotine.
Gotcha.
Yeah, then forces out the deny.
Yep, so the deny happens here. And then the thing that we have to remember though is Asher's going to have 3 healing next turn.
Yeah, so that's a really important thing to know for a swing. Like...
So Flock here is lethal. That sounds like a Flock.
You might be right. Oh, no, it's a Tri-Beam.
Or, yeah, Thermo Beam, which is going to be game.
That was actually a really interesting game, and a lot of it was dictated by Jenna, and I'm really happy with how he played it as well. Now all we have to do is wait for the second round to start, because don't worry, that was only the first one.
And then for just everyone watching, the bans, just so everyone's familiar, we had Jenna / Echo banning Asher's Go Hard deck, and Asher banned Jenna's Fiora Shen deck. So we should we should be seeing Jenna's Go Hard deck here, and Asher can now play either his Field Rush deck or his Lux Leona deck.
What do you want to play if you're Asher at the moment? Like, what do you think like the best play you can do?
The best matchup's gonna be the Field Rush deck. The really close one will be the Leona Lux one. That matchup's quite close. I played it quite a few times on my way to Masters.
Yeah.
And it's close. Go Hard is slightly favored, but it is a very close matchup.
Yeah, I really like it. It's really good. It's it was a bit sorry. Okay, yeah, so we're just waiting for the game at the moment. Bear with me just 1 second. I kind of like it though. I like that he banned the Fiora Shen, because like looking at that deck, I was like, that's kind of a deck you do need to ban, and I'm happy it was banned. But the what we're gonna see now is the Go Hard possibly into the Leona Lux, because I do like that matchup. It's really good. Or possibly the better option, like you said before, would be the Trundle Tryndamere Ionia deck into the Go Hard.
Yep, I think that would be, at least if Asher's trying to get one win in safely, the Field Rush deck would be the one to play. Field Rush traditionally just destroys Go Hard decks because they don't really have a great way to deal with big units.
Yeah, I kind of get what you mean as well. Like he's running the one Ruination, so you don't have to worry about multiple one come down, and you don't have to worry about a Ledros Atrocity either. I think that's the only scary deck in that card you really want to worry about.
Yeah, because you are running very few heal, because you're not running Shadow Isles, you do have the ability to just get aggroed out. If you have an unlucky draw, don't draw your Avalanche. You can just get aggroed out, but I mean, if you get to Feel the Rush turns, it's pretty dangerous for the Go Hard player.
So the thing is, I've actually been looking at Curse Keeper. I feel like he's put that in the deck just because of like the really fun like interaction he has with Fortune Croaker on a swing. I feel like on a round 3 swing that can have a really nice turn, especially if he's attacking on it.
Yep. No, the Curse Keeper is super interesting. It creates a few aggro lines that the deck doesn't traditionally have, where you can turn 2 Curse Keeper, turn 3 Fortune Croaker, or even turn 2 Curse Keeper, turn 4 Chronicles of Ruin, to create some really aggressive lines.
Yeah. No, it's okay. So we're in now. I think we're spectating on Echo's side this time. We couldn't actually get into the other one. Oh, and it looks like they've just started round 1 at the moment. So not Echo, sorry. Janna. That's a bit confusing saying that. Okay, what do you want to keep right now? Because I feel like, okay, you don't want to keep Ruination at all, because it's more than likely going to get denied. It's kind of okay to keep what you have at the moment, maybe just slash the Doom Beast, maybe?
I would definitely be getting rid of the Doom Beast, and
Yeah.
I would have to really think about Ruination. The reason being is, although it does get denied, if they play Feel the Rush, they can't deny.
Yeah, I kind of get what you mean. It's also nice to see from Janna's perspective at this point as well, because it's kind of what does Aisha have at the moment? You can feel like, he probably does have that Quake, and Janna has to know that because a lot of his cards can actually die to that.
Yep, Icequake and Avalanche are going to be key cards to keep from Asher's perspective. It's pretty much all you want is your early units. You want an Avalanche, you want Icequake, and then you want to Feel the Rush. Everything else in your deck doesn't matter.
Yeah, I kind of get where you're coming from. It's like Avalanche into the previous matchup, the Echo Draven was a bit useless, but into this, it's so effective. There's so many 2/2, 2/1 units.
Yep, the only one that kind of escapes that is going to be Elise, but you're fine with letting one unit stay alive while killing the rest.
Yeah, but yeah, I feel like open attack is good here because you really have to kind of like work around the Avalanche at the moment, and I kind of like it because it's kind of like Aisha's game at the moment where he does have to react to it. He does have to respect certain things.
Yep, this is the beauty of the fork of Feel the Rush decks, is that if you're attacking into a Feel the Rush deck on turn 3, you have to decide, do I respect Avalanche or do I respect Catalyst? And it's really difficult to make that decision. You either attack and they just heal afterwards from Catalyst, or you don't attack, you develop, and you get hit by Avalanche, and neither decision feels great.
Yeah, I kind of get where you're coming from at the moment. Like he's going for that constant damage right now, and it's been really effective while he's waiting for it. He's gone up to 10 damage in round 5. It's been pretty nice. It's kind of like
it has been, but what Asher is doing is really smart. I don't know if he has Avalanche in his hand or not, but the fact that like when Asher passed on turn 4, you have to pass back as Jenna, which allows the game to slow down, because that means Jenna's not developing more of these 1-drops and 2-drops and even 3-drops with the Doom Beasts that are in his hand or in her hand.
Deal me in.
It's like, what do you want to play right now? Ooh, the Twisted Fate. That to me seems a bit risky.
Well, I think this is fine. You kind of have to start forcing an Avalanche, right? Like it has to. You know it's in his hand, and you really wanted to get it out so that you can play the rest of your units.
Okay, so the Avalanche coming in. The Vengeance coming in. That could be a really good answer. I like that. Yeah, see what they play. This is actually really interesting. Okay.
So here's the Avalanche that we've been waiting for.
I like it. It's really smart.
Yep, and Asher's now in a really good spot. He doesn't have to attack if the opponent decides to play a unit. You can just sit back as Asher.
Yeah, and I feel like if he would have used the Vengeance though, that would have been so good for Asher there as well.
Yep, no, that's very true.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, hopefully he is sitting on a Quake at the moment. A Quake would be absolutely insane to have here. Or
it could be a Quake, but honestly, again, the fact that you have 3 Avalanche and 2 Icequake in your hand, just the threat of having them makes it so your opponent now has to open attack, which you're fine with, right? You can do your fast speed things to deal with the 1 unit. You could do nothing and just eat the 2 damage. Eating 2 damage is a whole lot better than eating, 5, 6, 7, 8 if you develop.
Yeah, I really like it. Yeah, you're right. Asia's playing this game really smart. He's like kind of dictating the whole game, like Janet was last game. I like it.
We will likely see a Doom Beast here, which will push about 2 damage.
Yeah, it's kind of one of the things you're gonna need to. Like, you need to bait out a catalyst at this point. Him so he doesn't have any spell mana.
On cold shots.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if we don't see Doom Beast. We might not. Interesting.
Okay. I guess you are scared of the other avalanche, but then again, you do have a really nice board.
Yeah, I think you can't be overly afraid now, because we're getting to those late turns where if Asher gets the 9 mana and has Field Rush in hand, which is highly likely, I don't really know what Jenna does to that.
Yeah, because more than likely right now he is sitting on the deny as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of like it. She's playing this game really smart, and like, yeah, Jenna's like had to just play in like kind of like the back pocket, like the back of the game. It's been a bit like it's been really infuriating. Like he's just respecting Avalanche and Quake just too much.
Yeah, if you look at Jenna's hand here, on the left side, he has had a 3-drop and 2 2-drops and another 3-drop for like 4 turns that he just hasn't played. And he's had the mana to play them, but he hasn't played them because he's been respecting Avalanche, which fair, you have to respect it to some level. But how much you actually respect it is a tricky thing, because if you over-respect it, you get in situations where, like this, where, I mean, how do you deal with an 11/6 Trundle in a deck that runs 3 deny?
Yeah, that's kind of the thing you didn't want to happen as well. The thing is, right now, you're not even sitting on a Ruination, so you kind of, yeah. I would have liked to see a Doom Beast. The thing is, like, at this moment, how are you pushing for lethal?
Yep, and that ramp right there will make it so Asher both healed and is going to be at Field Rush Mana next turn.
Okay, yeah,
Lakers puts him at 5, I believe? It might be 6. My math. Yeah, I think it's 5.
It's kind of cute. I've never actually seen Ledros actually do it on like an odd number before.
It does. It's the odd number plus the keg, so it ends up putting it like it's the highest percentage-wise of damage it can do. But yeah, the Field Rush here pretty much just seals the deal.
Yeah, okay, this has been a really well like orchestrated game by Aisha at the moment. I really like how he's played. Like even like if you just look at the game, like from the start, it kind of looked like Aisha was kind of losing. But like what he was doing is just like slowly developing his board and just having so much presence that Janet didn't even want to play a unit.
Yeah, I've talked about this before. In general, with slow decks like Field Rush decks, open passing and learning to hit that pass button is so important, because you do what Asher did in this game, where you're not actually playing anything, but you're making it so your opponent can't play. And if they do 4 damage to you a turn, and you get to turn 9, and you haven't died because they could have done 8 damage to you a turn, but they were only allowed to do 4, you win.
And that's actually really good, and I like that. That's so good. And the thing is, so we're gonna see that go hard again, but we're actually gonna see that into. Let me just get this up here. We're actually gonna see that into the Leona Lux Asol, which is something I'm gonna like. You can't play it like he played the last round. But I am gonna like it. I'm really gonna see how it works.
Yeah, this will be super interesting. We've seen 2 games so far where one was by Jenna, where Jenna was super in charge and kind of dictated the pace. It was the Draven Ezreal deck. And the last game we saw Asher kind of more in charge, where it was controlling what Jenna was allowed to do because of the threats of Avalanche and Icequake.
Yeah,
there's no Icequake threats here, but we do have an Asol, and that can be interesting.
Yeah, speaking of like this entire matchup, we're gonna get it right now, and it doesn't look like a bad hand for Jenna at the start. Like I don't mind it.
This is a full keep in my opinion. This is a perfect hand.
Yeah, you just I agree with you. You just keep this. We're really surprised if he takes anything out.
You have aggro potential. You have a keg, which is always nice. You've got your Elise. He tosses the keg. That's okay. Namely
Yeah, I
because you don't have a TF to capitalize on it, and you're not running the whales in this version.
And not overall bad. I like it.
Nothing like the stink of blood and sweat.
Yeah, it's a nice open 2 damage. It's pretty nice.
Yep. Notably, Asher does have quite a lot of healing in this deck. So you have the healing from Sunforger, you have the healing from 2 Guiding Touches, 3 Star Shaping, and on top of that, your Soloy Priestess can pull the Golden Sisters. So you have a lot of potential healing. So you're fine to take a little bit of damage early, so you can stabilize in the mid game.
Yeah, that's what's really good about taking it into this deck as well, because like you can like punish this entire aggro just by healing everything. Makes a lot of it pointless.
Yep, when I played this matchup in kind of high diamond last week, this past week, the big difference maker was Ladros. You can survive the first pack your bag, you can survive the early aggro, but if they can play Ladros into a pack your bags, it's backbreaking. Yeah,
Ladros is such a hard champion to deal with sometimes, because like you're doing really well, but it's kind of like one of those where like you're doing okay in the game, but like they'll drop a Farron, and they'll drop like a Renekton. Oh,
Renekton, new leaks here.
No, I was thinking of Cat and Barrage. I've actually forgot the name of the champion. Anyway, forget it. Anyway, the thing is, like, they'll drop like a Captain Farron, like champions like that, who like really dictate a game, and it really make you think in an entirely different light. Okay, I like this.
So this will be really interesting.
Take out the leads.
Because we'll see the glimpse here, try to deny the healing. And so the big question is going to be, does Asher have a strike spell in hand? Does he have single combat?
He's got to, otherwise this is going to be a really bad attack.
Oh, he could gold card. Oh, that's smart. That's very smart.
Yeah, it actually is. Now, yeah, you kind of have to answer with a single combat or end the turn. But he ends the turn and misses the healing. That's pretty bad.
Yep, that's a big deal. Losing the healing, which allows for a really good swing here from Genocide.
What's he got now? Okay, the concentrated strike's not bad.
I would have liked to see the glimpse there.
Yeah, I kind of, that's probably an error on his part, but
because you're gonna have to, if you develop all your units, you're gonna end up overriding a slot anyway.
I think it's right. I do want to push for the 1 damage because it's more than likely it's gonna get killed. Oh, not anymore.
Interesting that he doesn't wait until the next turn to try to get sisters from that. He just plays it now.
Yeah, that just kind of opens up for like go hard as well. Good. I feel like you could play a Doom Beast here. Like it wouldn't be bad, I think.
I think Doom Beast is perfectly fine. This makes sense as well. He's trying to flip his TF.
What's his twist fight on anyway?
I'm not quite sure, but he would be somewhere around 4, would be my guess. 4 or 5 by now.
Oh, yeah, so it is probably got this turn, but the thing is, like, he's gonna challenge it. You can use Glimpse and then 2 Doom Beasts. It's a completely like, nice trade for you.
Yep, there are a few awkward hands from the Leona Lux deck for sure that lead to these kinds of situations where you just don't have the early board presence that you want to be able to deal with the moderate level of aggro that Go Hard can bring.
Yeah, the thing is, we would have like seen this like the last turn as well. It's okay, nice, I like it. Yeah,
it was an interesting pass back there. That was a really interesting pass back from Asher.
I kind of just take him to like 1.
If that puts him to 1, we're gonna see the double Doom Beast here, which the only thing that really
is a star shape. It's the you have to play it. Okay, you get stealth heaps, okay.
So that's probably gonna be a go hard for healing, maybe. It's the only thing it could be, I believe.
Yeah, it is.
We'll probably see the glimpse in response.
Yeah, you can still as well because you still got your Doom Beast, so you got plenty of mana.
You want the Glimpse here to actually activate your Doom Beast.
So it kind of just sets it up just perfectly.
And the thing is, you're putting on enough pressure that even if he does have Star Shaping, you double Doom Beast, and if he Star Shaping, you're fine. That's his turn.
And that's the game over, and I like it. Those were actually some quick games in like either succession of each other, where like the winner of the game was like kind of like pinned out from the start. I really like it. So like, what were you kind of like expecting from the game overall?
So what has to happen there from the Leona luck side is they have to have a bit of an early game board presence. Nothing crazy. Just an early board presence to be able to kind of deal with the moderate levels of aggro that Go Hard can have. You have to have maybe your 2-drop, ideally like a 1 or 2. You basically a 1 or 2 drop, and if you can have one of those even, you can deal with the early aggro, and then you start stabilizing through your Grand Plaza, getting positive trades.
Yeah, I kind of get where you're coming from as well. The one thing like I kind of just like keep looking back on is that Avalanche. Like just keeping that could have like we could have seen a completely different winner from here.
Yep. If in the game 1 that if in game 1 he kept the Icequake in hand, I don't want to say likely would have because we don't know how everything would have played out, but he very well could have won game 1.
Yeah, so that kind of puts Asher right now. That kind of just takes him out of the tournament, which is actually it's kind of sad to see him go. You know, I liked how he played. It was actually nice. So who do we have? Are there any like results out at the moment for any other winners?
Let me take a look.
Oh yeah. I'm just gonna get it up now. It's been posted. It is the brackets are actually completely empty and have not been updated, so it's okay for now.
Yep. So the only thing that we know is that Jenna is going on and Asher has been dropped, unfortunately. So we definitely still have some interesting games happening. So we have Deech versus Softies happening, which we just got news that Deech won. So that is really exciting to see. A very well-known BR player. I believe he's part of Team Hydra. And just a very, very solid player going on to the semifinals.
If you kind of like look at these matches, you had like really like hard matchups coming in. I feel like the kind of the easy ones were like Wayne versus Lizus. It's kind of like, I feel like the kind of favorite person in that is Lizus. It's Cypher versus Tandy. Now the two plays I've not heard about at all. I'm really excited to hear the result of those two. Like, Cypher won apparently. Okay.
Yep, I was gonna say we just got the news.
Yeah, these news is they're coming in fast.
Yep. So it looks like for the semifinals we'll have a game between Asher and not Asher, Jenna and Cypher, and then Deech and the winner between Wayne and Lizus.
Okay, so within this, I really like whoever does this. I really want to see Deech versus either Wayne or Lizus. I know Lizus is good. He's a really solid player. So's Wayne. You just have issues sometimes being consistent, which I feel like Deech is probably favored at the moment. Currently they are 1-1, and hopefully I'm not sure. I can't. They're both part of my team at the moment. They're both team favorite players. I do want to see Lizus go forward. That's just kind of my bias. I think he is the better player. Just a bit better and more consistent than Wayne. And so I feel like it's going to be Lizus going into Deech. Now, if you see this matchup, who do you think's favored?
Between who and who, sorry? Between who and who, sorry? Are you there?
Okay, so I feel like I might be alone at the moment. MTuck, if you are speaking, I currently can't hear you. So I'm just gonna talk about the thing at the moment. Yeah, so if we get into Deech and Wayne, I think it is actually going to be Deech and Wayne. So yeah, Deech versus Wayne is actually going to be okay. I'm not sure what the issue is with MTuck. Yeah, so at the moment I currently can't hear you. I'm not sure what the issue is. So I found out what the issue is. I turned off my sound.
Do it. I was about to say, I
Yeah.
thought it was okay. But...
Oh no, so it kind of happens every time, right? So usually like I'll work from home and I'll have meetings, right? And so like my volume, it kind of works on like this kind of dial thing. So usually every now I'm just like moving my arm and I'll always put it to mute. It's like someone's speaking to me. I'm in a meeting and I'm just there and I'm smiling and someone's just like, please respond to me. And I'm just like, okay, so we actually got the results. It's Deech versus Wayne. Okay, throwing my prediction out in the air again. Every time I try to predict something against Wayne, Wayne always comes on top and wins. I like it. Who do you think's gonna win out of Deech and Wayne?
Well, I'm currently pulling up their decks now. I know Deech has some very interesting decks. He's got a mono Targon deck, which I'm very excited to see, featuring Zoe.
Oh yeah, I think this one's just been pulled up now. It's the Zoe Diana deck, and I'm not sure. I've not played a lot of Zoe, so I'm not sure if you have. Have you?
I played this deck a bit, but with Atrocity splashed in, instead of the Lunari Shadestalker, and it's really interesting. I did very poorly on it. I think I went 0-4 and then put it away. But
yeah, probably not the result you want.
We have seen players do very well with it. I know Kuvira brought a similar deck to Fight Night, and did quite well with it. I believe he got third in that Fight Night. So there have been some players to have really good success. I also know What Am I played this in Masters. He was the second player, I believe, to get Masters this season, and he used this deck to kind of finish his climb. So I do know that it is a good deck, even though I did not have personal good results with it.
That's absolutely no worries at all. So I'm just gonna pull a bunch of Wayne's decks up right now, just so I get them listed. I'm not sure how far we are actually away from the tournament setting up, because I believe all the matches have currently finished at the moment. Just let me see. Yeah, no worries. So I guess we're still waiting on them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pull the decks up at the moment.
Yep, so it looks like Wayne is bringing a burn list with 3 Teemo, 1 Draven for deck 1.
Oh wow, that's actually pretty nice.
A Feel the Rush deck with the standard SI kind of version, not the spicy Ionia version. And then we've got the same Leona Lux deck that we saw from Asher. I believe it's card for card the same.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a So that's Wayne's deck, isn't it?
It was a deck that I originally shared, but it is the deck he's bringing. That is for sure.
It sounds like a lot of people are net decking you this tournament, honestly.
Well, I wouldn't. Asher's doing it mostly because he's my teammate, and it was a deck that I posted saying I had good results with it. So I believe he was trying out from that regard. And then me and Wayne are buds, so he's allowed to net deck me. It's okay.
Okay, so I hope this goes well. The thing is, right, so you're friends with Wayne, but Deech is a really good and really strong player. So what do you think the result's going to be based off the decks they brought and the players that they are?
So as much as I love Wayne, and Wayne knows I really like him. He's a great guy. We hang out. We're good buds. We're good friends.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy. Like this conversation's happened so many times before. He's such a good guy.
He's such a great guy. But Deech is a very, very, very strong player. He top 32'd in the seasonal tournament. I'm not sure if he got higher than top 32, but I know he at least top 32'd. In the seasonal tournament, he's consistently in some of the top 1 to 2. In the LBR's tournaments, they have a ton of different ones. I know he recently played in the LBR All-Stars. I'm not quite sure how he did in it, but he's just consistently plays very well in tournaments, and as a high-performing. He's been in Fight Night multiple times, and often even has some really interesting decks in Fight Night. I know he brought Karma Ezreal recently, like when the deck isn't amazing, and he's just a really exciting player to watch.
I really like it. I actually cannot wait at all. Okay, so let's just see how far we actually are away from the game.
So we saw Deech's Targon deck, which, as we said, it's very, very interesting. The Zoe so this deck is an older deck. The older version ran Diana and Leona, and a lot of versions have been replacing Leona with the Zoe, just because if your opponent doesn't have any early game interaction, you can actually flip Zoe in this deck. This is one of the few decks that can reliably flip Zoe if you can get 2, 3, 4 turns out of her.
That's actually really good. Zoe, like turn 1, like is actually really good. Like it's just insane. Like you get so much roll, but you can't deal with it. It just takes over the game, like inevitably.
Yep, it is one of the, not even one of the, it is the most underrated champion that of the new set. It when we saw her on the spoilers, everyone was like, "Wow, okay, it's the new Teemo," and in reality, she's showing that she can be a threat.
Okay, bear with me a second. The thing is, okay, you're starting the game. You're Wayne. What do you want to ban on Deech's side?
So let's see, we're looking at a burn deck, an FTR deck, and Leona Lux versus Shenfiora. Let's see, is the Shenfiora tech for burn? It actually has 2 Spirit's Refuge in it. That's really interesting.
Yeah, I think Spirit's Refuge can actually be really good sometimes. It's like, especially with some decks that I run, like I can either have a Riposte, which actually gains me like some momentum in the game, killing a unit. Sometimes I'll have the Spirit's Refuge because it also grants me a nice chunk of health that can just keep me alive in the game. I do think it's really nice to actually have. And you don't see a lot of Spirit's Refuge because a lot of people cut it out because they're like, I'd rather have Riposte.
So in this case, I think if you're Wayne, you actually want to be banning the Fiora Shen. Mostly because the Fiora Shen, because of the Spirit's Refuge, can deal with burn. And on top of that, the Fiora Shen can deal with FTR. Whereas the other 2 decks, so the Mono Targon deck, is slightly favored into Leona Lux likely, probably even versus FTR, and then slightly probably even versus Burn. And then Gohar is going to be favored versus Burn, going to be unfavored heavily versus FTR, and going to be slightly favored versus Leona Lux.
Yeah, I feel like not a lot of people really want to deal with the Fiora Shen. It always sees a ban. I do feel like Wayne is going to ban it on his side. I feel like if you're Deech, you're probably right. Gonna go for the Teemo Draven. I feel like those are kind of bans you kind of need to pull off at this point. Even though you might kind of want to run like your go hard into it, you might not always have the cards you want. It can really take over a game fast.
So it looks like we just got the bans in. Wayne banned Fiora Shen while Deech banned FTR. So we're going to see from Wayne, Burn and Leona Lux. And then from Deech, we're going to see Go Hard and Mono Targon.
Okay, yeah, I like it. It's pretty smart banning, especially to set the Fiora Shen for Wayne as well. I feel like it would just run too well into your decks that you have. Especially into the Teemo Draven. If you're bringing that deck, it's something you must ban.
Yep, so this will be very interesting for sure. I know, coming from the Leona Lux's perspective, this is going to be a hard set for you for sure. You do have game in the Targon matchup, but it's close because you often are going to be winning the mid game because your units are better statted until they just play a massive elusive unit from their Celestials.
Yeah, I kind of get where you're coming from. I think it was like, I feel like Deech has the upper hand in this because I think you're definitely right. Like posing, like just having the Fiora Shen as a deck means that you can leave the Teemo Draven open because it's good, and like you can just ban out Field Rush. I like it overall, and I'm really happy to see these decks. Although for Wayne getting in to top 8 cut, I am surprised. He is usually a player like he will win 2 games in a row, but then he'll immediately lose the last 2 games. And I was actually talking to him while he was in his 3rd game as well. He sounded so confident that he was going to win. I really hope he decides to just bring this confidence here. Okay. So Wayne's unfortunately had to restart his client at the moment. He's having some technical issues, so that's absolutely no worries at all. So with Deech, do you think he's a tournament favorite? Like he's gonna win this whole thing?
I definitely think he's up there. I know that we're looking at, so if we pop into the bracket between Cypher and Jenna, and probably then Wayne the Deech. Yeah, probably Deech. I would have to favor Deech for the rest of the tournament. The main person I was interested in seeing how he would do against was Softy. So we will, and he beat Softy. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I would say if I had to put my chips in one spot, it would be on Deech.
Okay, and if you're gonna predict the 2 people to make it apart from Deech, who's it gonna be? Because my money's on Jenna at the moment.
That's really hard because we haven't seen Cypher or Tandy play, and we talked about this earlier. They're both new players to us. We haven't seen them before. In this case, it's just Cypher. So sorry, between Cypher and Jenna. So we don't know because we didn't see Tandy. We didn't see how hard that matchup was. We don't see if Cypher just played out of his mind or if it was a close game. We have no idea. And we saw the game with Jenna and Asher was extremely close. It wasn't like a blowout either side. I mean, quite literally, there was one mulligan that could have changed the whole thing.
That's completely right. And now we're finally in the game. Wayne is back, and we have Wayne versus Deech in the semi-finals. The thing is that Wayne's kind of the underdog in this tournament. I'm kind of like I'm favoring him. I really want him to win with this deck. I really want him to prove himself. And he's not got a bad first hand, I will admit.
Yeah, this hand's a good hand. If you toss the Spell Thief here, and then you have to think about the star shaping, but the other two are just insta keeps.
Okay, a little surprising he decides to get rid of his lifesteal, but that's okay. He does mulligan the locks, which I think is actually quite nice. Ooh, but getting the 2 Grand Plazas is something we've talked about before. When you're putting 3 lots of it in your deck, it kind of just said something you really don't want it at all.
Yeah, we'll definitely see how this plays out. We see this looks like what would probably have been the same early hand that Asher had, where you do kind of nothing until turn 4.
Yeah, okay, the thing is you get to use Grand Plaza, and you get some really nice lifesteal as well. Okay, let's see how this goes. Oh, okay.
Getting started on this go hard hurts early. We see.
Yeah.
The thing is, this is fine against Demacia, right? Because Demacia has no real way to do 2 damage where they wouldn't be doing 3. So from that regard, it's totally fine to go ahead and go hard your own unit. They don't have like an avalanche or anything, so this doesn't actually change the fact that your Elise is going to do the same damage she would have done anyway, and she's going to die to the same thing she's going to die anyway.
This is actually a really smart move. I'm really glad he decided to play Solar Pretest here, because the one thing you don't want to get answered into is like a Twisted Fate. We've seen that happen before, and it's not good.
Yep, and we see the Golden Sisters, very good card in this matchup. Healing, elusive damage has to be answered by your opponent. It's just a very, very solid, very, very solid card.
And you can answer with single combat if you want, so it's not bad. You're denying the cards.
This is actually a really tricky spot, because you're right, you're absolutely right. You could deny the cards here, or you could save that for your Lex Allegiance in the future, and both are completely valid options.
Yeah, I don't think it's either good or bad using it. You get to save some of your spell mana, it's fine. It's good to see how the game progresses from here.
So when taking a look at Deech's version of the deck, it is quite late game heavy. So he's running 2 Ladros and a Dreadway.
Yeah, the thing is with the Dreadway, it's kind of like, I'm still a bit iffy on it. I'm not a total fan, but I'd like a game that I'd see to prove me wrong.
This matchup is one of the matchups where it's actually quite good, because if your opponent doesn't have a way to deal with it the minute it's played, it can often just win the game.
Back, heretic.
And there's only a few ways that this deck can deal with a Dreadway. Actually, you have Lesson Dudley on the left deck. You have Concerted Strike, and then Obliterates that you have invoked. That's really it.
I kind of get where you're coming from. It's not great at all. I think it's you're coming up to round 6, and you have your Lux and your Golden Sisters. And it kind of looks like you don't have a decent spot to play Lux, but you do have a decent spot to play Golden Sisters in this deck.
This is an interesting path by Wayne. He wants to develop on his attacking turn. But I think what you really need to be doing here is doing something proactive. It's really important. I mean, even just that's fine. But you have to play proactively because you're not actually going to win the late game against a double Ladros and a Dreadway.
Yeah, I think what he's setting up for is like the Golden Sisters lifesteal at the moment.
Yep, it makes perfect sense. You're going to have a really, really big lifesteal unit as well as an elusive unit, which is always nice.
Yeah, I think it's really going to help. Like, the only thing you really have to be scared of is a Vengeance at this point, but you do have a single combat that can get that healing through.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a really nice like lifesteal coming out there, to be honest. If this can get through, this can actually really help save your game.
Yep. Now this is a very interesting spot from Deech's perspective. One thing too that's really interesting this might be gold guard. So gold guard's really interesting, because I'm fairly sure it hits the elusive, and if it doesn't hit the elusive, that means it's random.
Yeah, no, it's what you could do is I know because you could still get like scuffed by like Glimpse Beyond as well. I feel like they're susceptible at this point. Yeah. Even if you made the other one stronger, like you still might get denied for it.
Well, I'm trying to figure out who it hits. Okay, that's really interesting. Oh, okay, I see what he does. He's doing that so that he gets the lifesteal unit to be not stunned.
The only thing I was worried about this is actually Glimpse Beyond.
So I am surprised that Wayne didn't check the eye there, unless I just missed it. Because
I think he checked it. I'm not actually sure who stunned it, but I think he did check it.
okay, because if he did check it, then that means that it was stunning the lifesteal, which tells me that gold card's random in that case. Because I've had times where it's definitely hit the elusive, and I thought I had times where it's hit the lifesteal in the exact same scenario. So I believe that is completely random which one it hits.
I think in this one though, I would have been happy if he just accepted the stun and then just used single combat. I guess
Yeah,
combat.
I do agree. I definitely agree with that one.
It's really tense right now. As like Wayne, it's like, what do you want to play? Who do you want to fend? You don't want to lose this. You also don't want to lose to another Glimpse Beyond as well. But you still have the Star Shaking in hand, which is pretty good.
Yeah, you have a lot of lifesteal in hand still. I mean, not just lifesteal, but life gain. You have, I think that with the 2 Grand Plazas, you're looking at 7 healing from the Forger, the Sun Forger, and the 5 healing from Star Shaping.
Yeah, which can completely like almost like deny like a go hard.
One thing I want to see from Wayne at some point is a Spell Thief to get a Glimpse. Because Glimpse on a deck with no draw is great, and you're going to get Go Hearted. And if you get Go Hearted and you can Glimpse the Go Hard, like, that's good. They have very few ways to deal with that, as in, like, very few ways to cancel your draw. And you're drawing 2 almost for free. It's for 3 mana, you're drawing 2, which is fine. Like, for a deck with no draws, it's great.
But the thing is, right now, like, Deek has such a developed board. How does Wayne actually just, like, get rid of this? It's like, it's so well developed at the moment.
You have to develop the Lux. That's really the only way. So this is where I want to see the Spell Thief into the Glimpse. This would be a perfect... That single combat works as well, but I think Spell Thief into Glimpse just works. It's just, like, prime here.
Yeah, I kind of get where you're coming from. I think Wayne's just a bit too scared that he's just running out of options. He just wants to save some time.
No, it's totally understandable.
Yeah.
There's the Dreadway. The Dreadway is gone.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad one. Yeah, I think that kind of favors Wayne a bit though in like the end of things. It was actually not bad. He was a very lucky guy.
Yeah, you need to get the Lux online here. And how many Vengeance? So we haven't seen a Vengeance yet, which is likely going to be ready for that Lux. But ideally, we can get the Lux set up, where you can get some of these 5 and 6 mana spells out, get these lasers going, and it'll help us to kind of clear up all these chump blockers so we can actually get some damage being pushed.
Yeah, the thing as well to note, if I am right about this deck. But no, he doesn't run Crucible. No, he doesn't. I thought he did for a second.
You mean Crumble, I assume?
Crumble. I always call Crumble Crucible, and I don't know why.
Totally fine. Yeah,
like
okay, so...
better.
So we see the Go Hard there. I believe that's the 3rd Go Hard, so I'm fairly certain that we are on Pack Your Bags next.
Okay, yeah, this isn't bad to do if you're doing it. Yeah, completely understandable. Yeah, attack with everything you have, because you might just lose it, so...
Yep, you kind of... This is the thing that we've talked about quite a lot amongst competitive players, is that the threat of Pack Your Bags is oftentimes better than Pack Your Bags. Because it's not too dissimilar that... Okay, interesting, so he plays it here. I'd be really curious to what's in Deech's hand if he's playing it here.
Because... Yeah, I feel like you definitely could have waited for this.
Yeah, you could have, like, just forced this out longer. you're not under any threat of dying, and if you get a Ladros, then Ladros in the pack, it's oftentimes close to just game right there.
Yeah, the only way I can see this going through is if he has like 2 go hards in his hand at the moment. Thing is, like, Wayne's kind of in this situation right now where he can't drop Lux, and he really needs to. And he just has like no way of. Oh,
so
okay.
Salvage or Glimpse here are really good. I kind of like the Salvage better because it's.
I get what you mean. Salvage just gives you a lot more options for cards. Yeah.
It also is like something that's cool for burst speed. Like burst speed, you can play Salvage plus Lux, and even if he vengeances, you'll get a laser out of it, which is nice.
So this is what I would have liked to see from Deech. If he dropped the Gangplank first and then waited for Wayne to retaliate with another unit.
No, I completely agree. Because now we're sitting in a spot where like Deech has a scary board. Don't get me wrong, but like it's not as scary as it could have been.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, but straight up attacking is pretty good. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Restarted, yeah, you do need to defend. You need to do that. Yeah, and uses the Hush as well. I mean, I don't feel like it's needed at all, but I guess you are saving yourself 2 damage.
Oh, it actually ends up being 4 damage when you include the bear. Sorry, more than 4 damage. It's yeah, that would have been 5 damage that he saved by doing that Hush.
It's not bad. So what do you want to do here? You've used the Hush. Okay, you can use your Daybreak if you want, or you can get rid of the Gangplank now, and he only has 1 copy. Wait, does he?
It's a really hard situation. He does have 2 copies of Gangplank.
Yeah, I guess.
But
point,
it's a really hard situation here because if you play Lux, it's probably just getting Vengeanced. If you play Eclipse Dragon, it's probably just getting Vengeanced. I kind of like the Eclipse Dragon here because you need the Vengeance out of his hands so you can drop Lux.
Yeah, it's 100%. The thing is, like, right now, I guess he's worrying about the Gangplank, but you do also have the next turn to get rid of it. Okay, yeah, okay. Okay. I would have liked to see Eclipse Dragon just to bait out a Vengeance, but I guess Lux is coming out.
Yep, unfortunately, we will see Lux here, likely dying. Yep, and there it is. So we will get Eclipse Dragon, which is a nice consolation prize.
Yeah, which is, and drawing the 3rd Grand Plaza. Yeah, there's a thing we've talked about. Having 3 in your deck isn't the thing you really want.
Yeah, it's fine when you draw 1. It's great when you draw 1. The second one, not so great. You know, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
You need something to do. It's 3 mana. The third one is just a dead card.
Yeah, it's not great, but yeah, getting that out is pretty nice. It gets the soul, it gets concentrated strike, so not a lot he can really use. Okay.
We'll probably see Eclipse Dragon here, would be my guess, because you kind of need to kill that GP.
Yeah, you gotta just hope. You just at this point, you're praying this doesn't get Vengeance.
Yep, the opponent does have 2nd Vengeance to deal with this, potentially. It doesn't look like he does, but I believe that's going to be a gold card, which...
The thing is, what he could do next turn is Counter-Strike into Star Shape as well. I feel like that's the only thing that could really save him. Oh, okay, he's really going deep for Go Hard decks.
Digging for the Gohars, he's leveling his TF. His TF now would be on 3 out of 8.
Okay, gets the Hush. That's not bad.
Unfortunately, in this case, Hush isn't going to do much.
Yeah, because like it's a 7/6 anyway. But yeah, Counter Strike into Stargaze, like I said before, Shape would actually be like probably the best option he could take here.
Pretty sure it's the only option.
Yeah. Oh, I feel so bad. Especially getting like 3 Gone Plazas is not what you want. The thing as well, like, if you're Wayne at the moment and you don't really have a lot of things where you can just develop your board with.
Yeah, he's pretty much gonna have to ride off of a. I mean, you do have a lot of potential damage here with the Scourge. Giving your few units that you do have overwhelm is a good way to get some damage on Go Hard in.
Yeah, I feel like he's kind of baiting out because like he wants to put a unit down, but at this point, can you really?
This likely is gonna be a Ladros here, would be my guess. Just because it is lethal. If we know Wayne has healing, but if Wayne didn't have healing, it would be lethal. On top of that, it is just a nice unit, and might as well get it going now. There's not really a great punish to it.
Yeah, I feel like you are right. If you have it, you just drop it right now. He's got to have some go hard cards in his deck, though, in his hand at the moment. He has to. He's like drawing so many.
Yep, we know that is in his hand or in his deck. He had 5 after the pack your bags. So he
yeah, it's not bad.
Okay, red card forces in the same way that Ladros does, forces the healing to come out.
Yeah,
Cosmic Rays here is actually really solid.
Yeah, I like that, picking that. I mean, yeah, you might not win the game, but Cosmic Rays would give you a slight edge.
I mean, it clears the board. That's a big deal.
A game. Go on then. Watch the ball.
Okay, gets Tool Shark.
Probably some go hards here.
It's really been stalling. Like he's building a lot of tension for Wayne as well.
Yeah, this is how the matchup tends to go, where you're on the back foot just trying to survive, and eventually you might stabilize, and if you do stabilize, you kind of win from there. But you gotta be able to stabilize, so we'll see if Wayne can pull that off.
Yeah, I feel like you just need to Cosmic Rays. You kind of need to accept what's coming after that, which is most likely a Ledros.
Yep, I would agree. You don't really have the ability to do much else other than Cosmic Rays here.
Yeah, you don't have the luxury of playing it like a Solar Scrooge at the moment.
That was a nice wipe. If he has
really
Ladros here, this is the time that you play it. You could see a chump blocker first if he has it.
Gotta go with the
That
flow.
wouldn't be bad. Okay, so we see a Zapling.
Okay, so that likely pulls a go hard.
Yeah, I mean, you do have the Hush to defend it at next round, so it's not overall bad. I feel like it's kind of banking on him just attacking with attacking now. Ooh. Oh, and with the emotes as well.
We should see a swing here from Wayne. I would hope. Wait, did he pass? Interesting. Well, we're at least gonna kill the keg.
Yeah, I feel like this is a good option to go for. Because that's just gonna stack up in the next turn.
And it does give us 1 more health on the dragon, which is nice, dealing with this gangplank. We're going to have Hush to deal with the gangplank a bit, which is nice.
I think you could do it on that, but I was okay, so he just tries to go. He's not going to attack it, okay. Dude, at this point, you could just defend with your zap and then go for go hard. Oh, okay, so he lets the entire damage go through.
Yeah, you have the luxury of doing that here because you're gonna.
Yeah.
We could see double go hard here. I think here you don't do anything on this action, but you will have to do a Pale Cascade if he has a second go hard.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's you just feel bad kind of watching these games where you're like you're kind of like in the situation, you don't know how to get out, you're on your back foot, and this guy's putting so much damage into you at the moment. I like how Deech has gone, and I like how Wayne's reacting as well.
Yes.
So, okay, that draws a star shape. That's not too bad overall.
That's a very important draw. We will see here if he has 2 more go hards. We lost a Ladros.
Okay, that's surprising.
So that means there's 1 Ladros left in the deck. That's a really good news for Wayne. We have the Hush here on Gangplank to make it so that we at least get this chump block in. So we're
Yep.
taking currently 4 damage. We are on 1 health as Wayne after this. But we will have some healing to heal back up, which is good.
The more trying to block the elusive unit.
If you didn't know, you cannot block elusive units as non-elusive units.
Lessons been learned today. Okay, yeah, I feel like you kind of just eat the damage and then you just save Starship. There's not really, you can't really play a unit and play it at the same time, so you kind of just have to get in touch for a while.
Yep, unfortunately, you will. You might actually just consider playing it right away, just so you don't get your mana burned here.
Yeah, I feel like you can play it straight away because it's a card you're going to have to play anyway in regards to anything.
Yep, and you want to be able to play proactively next turn. That's a big thing. And you can't really do that while you're holding onto the Star Shaping. Well, Deech isn't actually, although Deech would be burning more mana, his board presence doesn't mind that.
And goes
And there's the Ladros.
Okay.
He has drawn all 3, well actually not drawn, we have seen all 3 of his top end cards. Two being tossed away, one by a fleeting, one by salvage. And now we see that finally the 3rd, the Ladros.
Yeah, I like the Phoenix coming out there. Not bad. Yeah, because I guess you can play Phoenix and you can kill Gangplank with it, and you can't kill your card even with like Vengeance.
Well, what's interesting,
but here comes
unfortunately that is the game. What would have been really interesting is there's a line here, if this wasn't lethal, of playing Phoenix, which would have more than 10 attack due to the fact that you have played a few Celestials as well as the double Plaza, into a Concerted Strike on the Zap, and you can get him for lethal.
Yeah, that actually wouldn't have been a good play, and that actually would have like helped Wayne. Oh, and dropping straight into the next match.
Wayne says, "I'm ready." Wait. I think we picked the same decks.
Oh wait, no, we've jumped into the same game again. Oh yeah. We're reviewing the same game. Yeah,
it looks like somehow we went backwards in time.
Oh yeah, I think this is actually a common bug sometimes in the lore client where you'll go back in and repeat the same game again. I think that's what we're getting at the moment.
Alright, well, we can re-commentate. You can actually see the line here that I was talking about is next turn, if it wasn't for the fact that we know there's a pack your bags in Leech's hand here, on the next turn we could have the 8 mana Phoenix coming down, which would get +2 from the Plaza, and would, I believe, get +2 or 3 from the other Celestials having played so far, which would put it over 10 damage, and you could then Concerted Strike with your bank mana, the Zap for lethal.
Yeah, I think overall very well played by Deech, and I feel like Wayne did have some moments where he could have come back. He did. I think he definitely shined in this game, and I think he can put up a good fight in the next one.
Well, if Wayne saw that line, Wayne was literally 1 draw from winning.
The thing is, if you're Wayne now, what deck do you want to play? Do you want to swap, or you just want to stick to what you know?
This is really hard because you're playing into Deech's Mono Targon, which is like a really hard deck to think about because it can do anything. It can turn into an aggro deck. It can turn into an elusive deck. It can turn into a late game bombs deck. It can play control with removal if it invokes correctly. It's not a standard deck. It does a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it's kind of like what I'm thinking right now. Do you just kind of want to like change your mindset up a bit? That was a really long game with all those cards. You just want to go to Teemo Draven. It's like, I feel like it wouldn't be bad. It'll change your mindset up. It'll give you a bit more hyped. Especially, definitely some momentum as well, just bringing that in, because it could be a quick closeout game, seeing if he draws everything. And what I do like is he has brought the Aftershock in as well, which is actually, it's not bad.
The shock is good. The few times I've played into burn players, they consistently have been using this on my face, not on my plazas, which has hurt.
Yeah, and I like as well, we've got the used cask salesman in there as well, and it's a card I haven't seen a lot, but I really like it.
Yep, yeah, Cask Salesman's a very, very good way to stall as the burn deck. It's
Yeah,
quite
like it's a card. Yeah, it's a card I have not seen in a long time since like the season 2, season 1 burn deck where used cast salesman was just everywhere. It was such like an infuriating deck. Like you just wanted to fight against. It's a card brings back so many horrible memories of just fighting burn decks. This is not nice.
Yep, the fact that Burn is back in the meta is not everyone's favorite fact, but it is definitely some player. I know Mr. Emotional is a Burn player who is very happy. I believe he's Deech's teammate in Hydra, and is very happy that Burn is back in the meta. I think that was one of the first decks that he was messing with on ladder.
Oh, so actually kind of curious. What have you actually been using on ladder at the moment?
So through I had a few things. So through Plat and Diamond, I mostly played the Lux Leona list that you saw from both Asher and Wayne. I played that as well as some Tyron's Peak deck just to have some fun. Wouldn't recommend that if you're trying to climb seriously, but it's a very fun deck if you're just trying to have some laughs.
Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying. So seeing as this season, unfortunately, I did finish it in Plat 2, which was really depressing. Because one of the seasons I finished in Diamond. I feel like I've done 2 seasons in Diamond, 2 seasons in Plat, which haven't been great overall. But yeah, I think right now all I've been playing is Deep Deck. I mean, you don't see a lot of play, but honestly, I just have a lot of luck with that deck. I think I don't know why.
Yep, the deep deck is unfortunately dropped out of the meta again, but it is a fun deck nonetheless.
Yeah,
I know in Fight Night, this would have been maybe close to a month ago now, I brought it with my Field of Mina deck, targeting Shadow Owl's Freljord, so it does still get used occasionally when you're targeting certain lineups, but in general, it's not the most competitive deck. All right, so we're hopping in. It looks like we're on turn 6, maybe?
Oh yeah, so maybe hopping in a little bit later than what we would have liked. That's okay. It's no worries at all. Okay, so we're going from Deech's perspective this time. Okay, but just judging off everything, I'd like to go for the Falling Comet, but actually gone for the Aegis. Okay.
I believe that's because he
of...
has a Falling Comet already in hand.
Oh, yeah. It's a bit awkward sometimes when you just come into a game where everything's just happening so fast. Okay, so let's just try to play catch up a bit. It looks like it's gone pretty even so far, to be honest, and Wayne's been able to stabilize the game for a while. It looks at this point that things might actually start shining for Deech, as a lot of the pressure is actually falling in his hand.
Well, we have pressure from Deech. Like, he's kind of threatening a cool little pale combat trick here. However, the fact that we have Grand Plasma on the opposite side, I don't know what's in Wayne's hand, but I'm sure it's some units here to be able to get some challenges on.
Yeah, what I do like is I like that he attacked with Traveler, because that's such a bait. I really like that.
Yeah, it's good because it basically says, hey opponent, do you want to trade your, like, if your opponent doesn't read this as, oh, he has pale, it says, I get to kill your 5/5 for my 3/4, which is nice. And if your opponent does read it, well, okay, I get 3 damage. Like, either way, I'm happy.
Okay. So yeah, I think he's opening up and just the trade in here, but the thing is, he does have Hush in hand. Kind of like...
So that was really interesting. He buffed the Diana there, knowing that this probably was going to get swung at, so that he could then pale it. And this Wayne is taking the smart line here and saying, all right, well, I don't want to give you that good trade, so I'll instead attack your 1/2.
I think it's really good here.
The moon is no stranger to changing faces.
So yeah, and drops the Zoe, so that's pretty good. And Wayne does have a fair bit of removal in his deck. Let's actually just bring that up to see what he does have. So he's running 3 single combats and 2 concerted strikes.
So there's a single combat.
Yeah, drops it on Zoe. That's really clever. I do like that.
So this is the thing that's really interesting, and T-Mode is the same thing as Zoe here, where they are a must-answer unit. That's a 1/1. It's like, so you look at this and go, oh, this is really good for Wayne, right? Well, Wayne did just spend 2 mana to deal with 1 mana. So technically, Wayne lost that trade.
Yeah, kind of like in everything, it's just... It's not great in it. Okay, putting the Falling Comet onto the Daybreak unit, not bad at all.
Yep, it's really interesting seeing how Teemo's been played out, or not Teemo's, how
Zoe.
Zoe, thank you. How Zoe's been played out in terms of this deck, because at first you're like, wait, Leona's so much better. You get to stun stuff every turn. She's just well statted. Like, why are we playing a Zoe? But once you see people play it out, you're like, oh, it literally wins every trade. There are very few cards that can deal with a Zoe, like to make the trade even. It's pretty much only Go Hard and a 1-mana Thermo Beam.
Yeah, it's I do like I've seen Zoe, and there've been games where I've disrespected it. I've just left it alive because I was like, oh, it's a 1/1. Yeah, but like it just gets to the point where it's like, wow, this actually just has taken over my game. Wow.
Yep, if it flips, and like it'll randomly flip, like this deck can play 5 different cards in one turn, no problem. So you have to deal with it quickly, or else it'll flip. And if it flips, especially in this deck, which is running quite a few elusives, if you play an elusive after you flip Zoe, you probably just won the game.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a nightmare card, but I'm actually happy Zoe's in the game because I didn't expect her to actually be in so fast because she's kind of like a relatively new champion. Like you're not as old as like the other ones like Tom, Kench, and Teemo, but I'm actually really excited to see her in the game.
My patience.
Yep,
wanes.
no, this will be interesting. So we did see Wayne just play the star shaping, so that means that he has some very big, probably scary Celestial in hand, which is always interesting.
Okay, I like this as well. Yeah, because like, okay, the Moonglow or Crescent Strike's actually not bad here. I'd probably go for Crescent Strike. Yeah.
We did just get told that Jenna has beaten Cypher. So Jenna, the person that we spectated in round 1, will be one of our finalists. That'll be Jenna versus the winner between Wayne and Beach.
Okay, that's actually not a bad thing at all. I'm actually really happy for that. I don't know why. I can see like, oh, the Phoenix coming down. Now, the thing is, like, if you didn't have that Hush in hand, you would just been forced to play the Zoe, but then again, you do have the Crescent, so you can stun it. It's like, what option do you go for?
I think if you're Deech, the Hush play plus Pale is really, really solid here, because it's 2 cards, but your 2 cards draw you 1 card, so it's really just 1 card in terms of card advantage. And it actually kills as the dragon, opposed to just stunning it.
Yeah, I feel like if you're Wayne, like, what's kind of your answer here? I mean, if he's kind of running into that, and I don't believe he runs any Bastions in his hand as well. Yeah, no, I'm just looking for his deck now. He doesn't.
The answer from Wayne has to be Pale here. That's the only answer that keeps your dragon alive.
Yeah, 100%. And
or Hush, actually.
Yeah,
Sorry, Hush would as well.
Yeah, no, that's not bad at all.
Yep, so this is good from Wayne's perspective, like really good. The interesting thing from Zoe is she's also an elusive blocker. So your opponent plays a really scary Celestial, and you play a Zoe. Like, all right, you survived.
I think as well, like, if you like the next attacking turn, you can just play Crescent Strike and stun this one, and then you can attack with Zoe.
Yep, I think what you want to play here is probably Crescent Strike either now or after you play the Living Legends, because like a big elusive here can just win you the game.
Like 100%. Like, it's gonna be a bit brutal. I really want to know how Wayne's gonna come back from this, especially because the Crescent Strike is just so brutal. It's so punishing. I feel like this could actually be a defining round for Deech, actually just coming back in the game. It's looking pretty even so far. Wayne's actually just put up a really impressive game against Deech, so I'm kind of impressed from him overall.
Yep, I know from seeing Kavir's games in Fight Night with a very similar deck with Zoe. Crescent Strike is a key card in a lot of matchups to just win either with a tempo attack or to save you in a defensive turn. I definitely underrate it whenever I see it in my kind of pool of Celestial cards I can pick. I always go, man, I didn't want this one. But seeing players play it correctly just really tells me, wow, this card is strong.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. He's going for it. Crescent Strike. You can play Living Legends after as well, if you want to.
Living Legends, and going to be looking for some nice, strong Celestial probably 8-9, maybe even the Scourge at a 10 drop.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, so he answers with Leona. Okay, it's not bad. I mean, it doesn't give you what you want.
But it is a
Okay,
stun onto like a
yeah.
unit. It basically gives you one blocker and makes there be one less attacker, which is strong.
Yeah, I guess it stuns a 3 for the Traveler, but not like. It's kind of a shame that there's not a lot of like really good units to block, but it's not bad. Like a 5 and 4 pretty much means he can't really attack with any other units outside of Zoe.
The moon is our queen.
Okay, so we see
let's
the
start.
dragon here, which is interesting.
I guess not going for the Living Legend, so that's okay. But okay, now Diana just have quick attack and his level up, which is always that quick attack. He's now just leveled up as well. But doesn't have any more Nightfall, so you can't really activate the Challenger.
No mercy for heretics.
I think I would have liked Wayne to not play that 2-drop and use it on offense instead.
Yeah, I kind of get where you're coming from that, because you could have just blocked with like, yeah.
You were under pressure for dying by any means. Like, he didn't have any great attacks outside of the Eclipse Dragon. And you're always chump blocking it with the 2-2.
Okay, I feel like you just go for Moon Silver here. There's not a lot of like great units you want to get. I mean, what he could have done, he's gone for a Serpent. If you wanted
Moon
to,
Silver
but
is really good
probably wouldn't
because,
work.
like, what Deej is really just doing here now is he's trying to keep building up the Celestials. The more Celestials you can play, the bigger your big Celestials is eventually going to be when you get it off of Living Legend.
Okay, but the thing now, if he just attacks his Phoenix, like you can't answer this as Deej, can you? There's nothing outside of Zoe.
But yeah, you can just block with Zoe. And honestly, if depending where Zoe's at with her level up progress, you could even eat this, because the Leona Lux deck, the only reach it runs is Lux Lasers. Everything else is just something you could block. So you could consider even eating it there.
I don't like it overall. I think it's a pretty positive trade for Wayne in the end. I guess
Yep,
getting
Wayne's
it off the
happy with
board.
that. Dealt with the Zoe. He might not have been able to deal with the Zoe otherwise.
Okay, you do have a Challenger Dragon as well on the side of Deej. We can just eat that up. It won't kill it because it will come back. I'm kind of curious to see what he plays. I mean, I feel like he needs to play Living Legends at the moment. It's like right
It
now
wouldn't be now. You need to dump this hand.
They will not outrun us.
Yep. So just playing these Celestials to get that trigger going for Living Legends of trying to get more and more Celestials down.
Yeah, I kind of get it. It's a really methodical game from Deej. Oh, and here comes Wayne with his Aurelian Soul.
It's the one of, and that is actually huge in this matchup because
That's a
Deej does not have a great way to deal with this in the deck at all, and even outside of just in the deck, the only way you can deal with this is you can Living Legends, but then you have to figure out how do I pop the spell shield and kill Aesol.
Behind the moon.
Yeah, it's probably not okay. Yes, he uses the Moon Silver on that. It's not bad.
Yep, so he's just emptying his hand. He's got now
Yeah.
Living Legends and hope that he can find something to deal with this Aesol.
Okay. Let's see what he's got.
We see Crescent Strike can pop it, but then nothing else.
Oh, so he just have the Phoenix. So he has drawn that.
So Phoenix is good, but Phoenix doesn't deal with Aesol, which is the big problem here, because Aesol's flipping. That's the thing that we have to remember.
Strike when the moment is
Yeah,
right.
okay. It's
It does look like he's going to go for Phoenix, from what it looks like,
Yeah.
because he's, again, just getting that Celestial count higher and higher.
Tidings from the sky.
yeah, okay. Oh, gets a Hush, which is actually not bad. So it means
Yep, the Hush will be really good to deal with either the Phoenix or Aesol to pop the spell shield.
Okay, yeah, puts the Immortal Fire down. Not bad.
Actually, we could have a really scary attack next turn, where if Deech just hushes the Phoenix and open attacks with his Phoenix.
Oh yeah, that is actually disastrous.
I mean, it wouldn't be lethal, but it'd be very, very close.
Now they'll pay attention.
In fact, it would be extremely close because of that Pale
Yes,
Cascade top
especially
deck.
now with Pale Cascade coming down.
And yep, he doesn't even need the Hush. He can just pull it to the side.
I feel like you still kind of want to hush it so it doesn't get reborn.
I think I like this better. The reason being is you have good odds of losing your Phoenix here with the fact that he has an Acel. So playing to like, oh, maybe Hush might be good. The thing is, if you Hush it and then he like Pale Cascades or has a way to kill your 2/1, like that feels really bad.
I feel like at the moment he's kind of sitting on one Pale Cascade, but I guess he could have it, he could not. Oh,
That Hush is really strong here.
That's actually really great.
You really want to block that with Acel. Yep, that's really important to play around Pale. Super important.
Yeah, I feel like it's good. You can, if you still want to play around Pale, yeah, I feel like that's completely fine.
Yep, I think you can. You can either eat this or you can block. I wouldn't probably block that one. I would. If you chose to play around Pale against the 6/5, you should choose to play around Pale with Diana. Yep. So the Hush there makes sense now. We could even see a Pale on the Diana just because it pushes 8 or 4 damage.
I like this. Wayne's actually fighting back. Like, he's not just like killing over and dying. It looks so incredibly close compared to the last game as well. You're
Yep,
right.
so we see the Pale here for 4 damage, which makes a lot of sense.
There was a mountain guard as well, so that's not bad. A bit of damage coming in. Okay, but I feel like overall, okay, let's just see what happens here.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense, playing it safe. I really like the play to deal with Diana over trying to save your 2/1, or your Dragon.
Yeah, I like this play.
I think it's really safe. I think you're fine here because he has no way to deal with your Acel. We know that because if he did, he would have done it by now. And we just played Living Legends, we probably just won the game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Wayne, oh yeah, this is it. Yeah, Deech is just like, that Scourge has been played. I am out of the game. I don't want to play this anymore. And
that was
actually,
very, very well played by Wayne.
Yeah, that's probably the best game Wayne's ever seen. Like that is actually really impressive from Wayne though. It's like to a game where we thought like I didn't even know if he was gonna like, keep playing that deck. Now we go to the aggro as well, which sorry,
I believe that we're seeing the bug again.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Is we just he just played the same deck again. He's like, I wanted to go, I want to play it more.
So now we are going to see burn aggro into Mono Targon, which is super interesting.
Actually,
so Wayne just told us that he thinks this is a hard matchup of burn aggro into Mono Targon. Honestly, it is, but it's a very card dependent on what Deech has.
Yeah, the thing is, right now, like, what you want is Wayne, you just want to draw all your 1-drops right now. You want to get everything out of the way. And, with the Hush coming through as well, might be, a bit disastrous.
Wayne not drawing a 1-drop has to feel terrible.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Okay, get some Legion Grenadier. So I guess you can trade with a Mountain Guard if that's something you want to do. But I don't feel like it's bad to open attack here. Thing is, by Deech's hand, he's looking like he can stabilize the game really quick. What do you want to play? Because you can trade into the unit and hush it so the damage doesn't go off. A slow priestess, I don't mind.
Oh, if we see Sisters here, that's be so hard. Sisters or Shower, both of them are really good here.
So okay, Precious Pet coming in. Okay,
so,
not bad.
We just found out that that Precious Pet was actually in Wayne's hand turn 1. He just didn't play it.
Oh, that does feel a bit bad.
So unfortunate for Wayne, he's been playing control a bit too much and hitting pass on turn 1 a bit too often. I will say this has happened to me way more than I'd like to admit, where I play control. Most of the time I play on ladder, I play control decks, and I pass on turn 1 probably 99% of my games. And when I decide, let's pull out an aggro deck, I've passed on turn 1 way too many times.
Trickster never loses because Zoe makes the rules.
Yeah, I feel like with Zoe coming out, it's like kind of like you come with Teemo, but the thing is, you can just touch it.
He could just touch it. That is true. I don't think you want to play that aggressive here. I think rather you want to just kill the Teemo with your. Actually, you probably kill Ballistic Bot here with Diana and Pale.
Yeah, that's actually not bad because like he can't play Teemo at all now, so it's just a dead card just sitting there.
And now you don't even need Pale. That's the crazy thing. You kind of that's a really interesting play by Wayne because you just handed the bot over to Deech.
Witness glory.
And you put like Wayne in this situation where like this Teemo card is just like has no use at the moment.
You kind of have to block here. You don't have a better option.
It's not what you want, but like, I mean, Wayne's managed to do 5 damage so far, so it's not bad. You just need to do something before you can get Golden Sisters out.
Yeah, between Golden Sisters and the Sun Forger, this would be a really difficult one for Wayne to close out.
Yeah, I mean, just pull up his deck really quick. So that's it. He doesn't run like a Captain Tyrant, so there's like no end game coming in for him here. I feel a lot of things he's going to be relying on at the moment is like use Cast Salesman and Noxie and Fervor.
Yep, he's going to have Fervors to get out of this. That's be really, really important.
Yeah, because he's going to have to deny some of the healing that's going to come through as well. It's really important. Okay, another Legion Grenadier coming in, not bad.
For the Empire.
Okay, that's decent burn. We will see likely. Yep, I was gonna say the stalking or the 2/3 just to get some more blocking in. The swing is fine from Wayne if it's just this one, because you're fine with this kind of hitting any of them.
It's fine. And even if he does use the Hush, it's still a win for Wayne.
Yep.
Okay. Oh no, for a second there I thought he just left it to attack. Okay, it's not bad. The thing is right now is Wayne's burned through a lot of his cards really fast.
Oh, and there's a start. That's really rough.
Yeah, the thing is, what he's gonna do is he's gonna play like Golden Sisters next turn, and then he's gonna play that into Star Shaping. So it's like
there's a lot of healing here in Deech's hand.
Yeah, this is gonna be like hard. If Wayne pulls this off, I'm gonna be impressed. But yeah, this block here with the cat. Yeah, with the cat, you deny like a bit, but not a lot overall.
Oh, and he doesn't even have a fervor.
Yeah, that is bad. It does make me wonder, like, what is he holding in his deck?
A Teemo.
He gets a Teemo. It does feel a bit bad. I mean, it gets to deny a bit of healing, not a lot overall. I feel that's what's really going to put Wayne in a bad spot, is if Deech plays that Golden Sisters at the moment. It's really going to put Wayne in a bad mindset.
Yeah, I don't know how you can come back from this as Wayne.
Yeah, and I feel like it kind of Wayne was like, this is like kind of like the hard matchup with like, you're playing with elusives. Like you're right, you've got elusives, you've got challengers, like you got Hushes coming through, and so much lifesteal. It's like a deck of everything and anything.
Yep. Wait, this deck does really well against decks that they win, but they win just barely because this deck can like Leech's deck can kind of shift to do whatever it needs to do to win. Decks like Pirate Aggro do a lot better in this. They can kind of trade a bit more. They can put more pressure on their units while burning the Nexus as well.
Yeah, and this is a straight up burn at the moment, which
like this isn't really pushing any damage here. You're only getting one good trade and you're getting 2 bad trades.
And I guess like you do get Diana up, but I feel like playing Golden Sisters right now and like, having the other Diana in hand, you don't really mind trading that.
Not at all, because you can just play like your Starshipping into Diana on your next attack and have a challenger with quick attack, which you're happy about.
Yeah, I feel like this is a Decimate. Okay, no, it's an Aftershock. Okay, it's not bad by Wayne overall. It keeps you in the game somewhat.
It does make it so it doesn't get an attack. I don't want to say it keeps you in the game, but it does make it so you're not out of it yet.
It probably gives you 1 turn extra. Oh, ooh, and coming up to the Supernova, I'd probably take that.
I'd probably actually be looking to take Destroyer because you do get something to win the game.
Oh, the emote's coming out right now. Yeah, it's nice to see Burn coming back, but not as effectively as it could have.
Yep, Burn is back, but it is not the old Burn. The old Burn really had only a few decks that could contest it. This is gonna feel really bad because it's just gonna die to a Pale.
Yeah, and I feel like Burn used to be so good, but like Targon came out, and Targon's just full of heals. It was full of shenanigans. Yeah, I feel like okay. Yeah, this is a really smart move by Deej.
Yep, levels the Diana while healing his 2-3. Now it's a 4-2, and he gets another Starship. As they say in as they say in the tournament world, what a good player.
Routes closed. Signing
Yeah, at this point, it kind of just screams, I'm Deej, I've won. Wayne, why haven't you surrendered the game?
Yeah. Wayne's putting up a valiant effort.
Yeah. I mean, you know, he's trying. He's not giving up. He's doing something. He's playing cards. You know, the Ignition's a one crop. It's not going to win you the game, but it is a card that has been played. Okay, Precious Pet coming out. I mean, yeah, this probably doesn't push lethal
No, I don't.
at all.
Something tells me this does not push lethal. That is a correct statement.
Yeah, this is like a thing I have where I'm just like, that doesn't look like lethal. Yeah, if you're Wayne, you know, GG, you put up an amazing game in round 2, and you should feel proud of that anyway. It was a fantastic game overall.
It was a very, very, very good game too. I would be very happy if I was winning from that game 2 performance, and then a bit sad from the game 3 performance, not because of Wayne, but because the matchup. If Mono Tarkin just draws the healing cards against Burn, it's a bit rough.
Yeah, it wasn't a great matchup. I don't think it's anything to do with the play. You're definitely right. It's just the matchups into there. They just don't go well. They just counter so hard. But yeah, that kind of puts things into perspective. Now you have Deej coming up into Jenna, and I've not seen a lot of him. And you know, he is a player from Europe. It's kind of like a Europe versus Brazil. So there's currently some rivalries going on there at the moment between continents. So it should be interesting.
Should be a good matchup for sure.
Yeah, I should really like. Okay, the thing is, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna pull up Jenna's decks again because I got rid of them all for Wayne.
Yep, I'm currently doing the exact same.
Oh, there's. Just gonna give a nice little GG to Wayne. I think overall, yeah, fantastic game. Just matchup not in your favor, and that's kind of the only thing that was affecting it to go.
So this is really interesting. In our top 2, we have, for starters, these are the 2 players that went 4-0 in the Swiss rounds. So these are the 2 players who performed best in Swiss in the top 2. So well done for them continuing their good performance in the top cut. They are both undefeated currently throughout the whole tournament.
Yeah, that's actually really good. So wait, Jenna didn't drop 1 game, did he? Because I'm pretty sure he dropped 1.
They're undefeated in terms of sets. I haven't checked games.
Oh, no. Yeah, we casted Jenna's game first, didn't we?
I'm referring to like sets. They are. Yep, they have. Jenna has won every set he's been in, or she's. I'm not sure if it's a he or a she, but every set that they were in, and Deech has won every set that he's been in.
In the moment, Deej is taking a 5 minutes break just to recoup. To be honest, like I'd need that. Like that game 2 was a bit like that was a it was a long game, and Wayne's now is going to rewatch the entire stream and just to see what we said about him. It was nothing bad, nothing but praise.
Nothing but praise outside of the bird matchup.
It's like kind of watch game 1, watch game 2, but just don't watch game 3 like at all. But to be honest, if you've got to this part and you're rewatching, it's a bit too late. Okay, so I'm just gonna bring okay, so I've got Deech's text right here. I'm just gonna bring up Jana's.
Yep. So we have some interesting decks here. So we got, looking at Jenna's lineup, we've got Elise Twisted Fate. So this is really interesting when we compare the Gohards between the two. You think Gohard versus Gohard, same matchup, right? 50-50. Not at all. This is very similar. Deech's version is very, very similar to the one that me and my play group made for the seasonal tournament. So I say we, it was mostly Bones and Glop who made this version. That is running the Dreadway, Ladros. We only ran one Ladros, but he's running 2, and then Whale, and then multiple Gangplank. Because what you can do, especially if you're starting Petty Officer, which we had Petty Officer over Jagged Butcher, is you basically play like Keg Control with Gohard. And that is really good in the mirror. A Whale with a Keg just blows out the mirror.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'm really hoping to see. I do want to see a Gohard versus Gohard. That's gonna be a slow game. It's gonna be interesting to see who wins, honestly, though, in general.
Deech's version is super favored in the mirror, like to the point where I would say Deech is favored like 60-40 in the mirror. Because he's running double Ladros, which is a big deal in the mirror. He's running Whale, which is a big deal in the mirror. And Gangplank over extra Elise, which is a big deal in the mirror.
Yeah, so if you're Deech right now and you're looking at Janus decks, do you go and ban the Fiora Shen like everyone's been doing?
Let's see, you're fine to go into Gohard because you're running a Fiora Shen list that's good into Gohard. You're running... The only thing that's not amazing into Gohard is your Targon deck. We tested this matchup a lot. Mono Targon into Gohard, and Gohard just destroys it because you don't really have a great way to deal with TF. You have Diana, but it's like only Diana.
Yeah, I kind of get where you're coming from. I feel like overall you can ban the Fiora Shen because that's probably one of the best ones because you don't have such a bad matchup into everything else unless you really want to go for the ban on Draven Ezreal if that's something you want. I feel like both players could just ban out Fiora Shen if that's what they wanted to.
I'd actually probably ban Draven Ezreal if I was Deech. The reason being, Draven Ezreal into Mono Targon is probably 50-50. It beats Fiora Shen, so your Fiora Shen's unfavored, and you're probably slightly favored with Gohard, maybe just moderately favored. But if you look at the Fiora Shen from the other side, your Fiora Shen is... I'm trying to see if there's much differences at all. Let's see. Your Fiora Shen, if anything, is favored because you have slightly more top end with triple C3 over double, but like you're looking at 1-2% there, if that.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from there. I think like the only thing to like notice as well is like one has Laurent Chevalier, which is a card like you don't see all too often, and it's nice. It's nice to see it does draw you a card, but it's like not overly effective. I think, actually dropping like a 4 cost is a 3/2.
Yeah, I think that the mirror would be clearly 50-50 in this case. Gohard into Fiora Shen, although he's teched for it, like the Fiora Shen deck is teched for the Gohard matchup, Gohard's still probably favored, even with against a tech version. Just because you have it, they have to draw Fiora to have the Fiora win con even an option. If it's not an option, then you probably won. Even if they deny your first Gohard, you're gonna eventually get a second one through your zaps. And you just play so many units. The thing about Gohard is almost all of your units trade positively because they draw you another unit. Like,
It's actually
Fortune Croaker, draws another unit. So that's just free 2 damage that you're getting on something because you drew another unit. Pool Shark, free 1 damage because you're drawing something else. Dreadbite Deckhand makes your Go Hard turn into a Mystic Shot. Doom Beast is going to heal you and do damage and do 3 damage to a unit. Like, almost everything you do is super efficient and replenishing your hand.
Yeah, I think it's actually just like, I think Deech probably has like the favorite hand at the moment. I feel like he's just took like, he's really like a nice deck, and he's played kind of perfectly. It's just Jenna's just come up and it's kind of like an underdog who's just kind of like beat everyone and like has gone to the finals, which is also like kind of impressive. And it's like something I didn't even know because they weren't even on like my top like 8. I didn't even have like a top 8. I had like a top 7, and like my 8th place was just like a question mark. I was like, who am I gonna pick? So I don't know.
Yep,
Oh,
it will be interesting to see how the bans do play. If you're Deech, you can either ban Draven Ezreal or Fiora Shen, but you're happy with both bans. And then if
Yeah.
you're Jenna, you don't ban Fiora Shen because you have the mirror, which is 50-50. Draven Ezreal beats it, and Go Hard probably beats it. I'd probably be looking to ban his Go Hard, to be honest. If you're Jenna,
Yeah.
banning Deech's Go Hard makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I guess you can. Like, yeah, you can ban his Go Hard and probably go into his Fiora Shen.
Because I think your Draven Ezreal's favored, your Fiora Shen's a mirror, and against Fiora Shen, and your Go Hard is probably favored slightly. Whereas when you look at his Go Hard deck, Deech's Go Hard is favored in the mirror, favored into Draven Ezreal, and favored into Fiora Shen.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, honestly. I'm also looking forward to how his Zoe Diana deck does as well. Let's see if we got a bit of an update. Okay,
Zoe
so
Diana is
yeah.
it's such a hard deck to talk about matchups.
Yeah, just by seeing it, then it's just like, wow, this deck kind of just like, it does kind of nice into everything. It's like a bit of everything.
Yep, I know Glop was playing it quite a lot towards the end of last season, and I was asking him about it when we were thinking about for seasonal. I was like, all right, tell me the matchup spread for this deck. And his response was, I don't know. It's a little bit of everything. It's always a journey. So you kind of just invoke stuff and hope you win. I was like, that's very helpful,
yeah,
Glop. Thank you for your insights.
Oh, this has been funny. Although we got word right now by Curious that they are actually banning at the moment. So I'm really excited to see who they ban. I'm like, I really do want to see like a Go Hard mirror matchup. I probably won't get to see it, but hopefully it's there.
For the sake of a competitive series, I hope that Jenna bans Deech's Go Hard. But for the sake of watching an insane Go Hard mirror, I want to see the Go Hard mirror. I'm with you there.
Yeah, yeah, that's where I've been coming from. I was like, it's like you probably should ban it, but then I was like, I kind of really want to see it at the same time. Oh, yeah, that would actually be insane to watch. There are some supporters though of Jenna in the chat. I can actually see right now. There's like some people just go Jeech, go Jenna, and yeah, it's actually gonna be actually just by looking at the chat, Deech actually has more supporters than White.
Yep, Deech, the BR community comes out for their team. That is for sure.
Oh yeah, let's hope he can pull off a win today, or if Jenna can make the upset. Oh, and matchmaking is timed out, and the lore system has bugged out. Can we spectate again? Okay, yeah, this is the one like instance sometimes where like you are trying to spectate, and just for some reason like it's not like every account. It's like some accounts like you can get through fine, and then some you can't. So I'm not sure what the issue is with spectate, but I know there is some issues with spectate at the moment. I'm not sure how they're gonna iron that out, but hopefully like it does get ironed out. I'm not.
So we did just get the bans in. It looks like Deech banned Draven Ezreal, and Jenna had banned Fiora Shen.
Okay,
so we will see potentially the Go Hard mirror.
Oh, that's exactly what I wanted to see. Now all we need to do is get into this game and spectate it, and hopefully we'll be able to see something. Oh, hopefully. Oh, okay, they're about to... Oh, so they haven't exactly started yet. Okay. I guess that's what they're just waiting on. So they haven't started yet. So in terms of what we were talking before before they just jump into match. So in terms of ladder, so let's get to conversation. What exactly have you been playing? Like your most played deck?
So like I was saying, most of my climb would have been done with that Lux Leona deck with the one Aesol that we saw from Asher and Wayne. That was what I climbed pretty much largely into Masters with. But once I got into Masters, because there's so few Masters right now, I think at the moment there's somewhere around 20. When I got in, I was the 10th Master player in. So because there are so few Masters, you really have a pocket meta where you queue into somebody, you're probably going to queue into them again. And so counter queuing becomes a really big thing. I remember the way I pushed to rank 1 was through Fielder Rush because I saw Apatow playing Go Hard. I saw Nick Bake Plays playing a Targon's Peak deck. And then I saw, I think it was the real Goblin King playing some aggro deck, I think it was. I was like, all right, Fielder Rush has good matchups in all three of these. Let's start playing that. And I climbed 100 something LP in maybe 10 games, and I got rank 1 with that. So is that because Fielder Rush is good right now, or is that because I picked the right deck in the right pocket meta? Probably the latter.
We'll never know. There's kind of one thing I'm curious about. I was wondering, like, on ladder, have you ever run into Hawktie?
Have I ever what?
Hawktie. He's he's actually a popular American streamer of lore.
Say the name again, sorry.
Hawktie, as in the bird, and
Hawktie.
Yeah, Hawktie. Yeah.
I've played him a few times. He always plays really interesting decks that have like some wacky either combos or top end to them.
Yeah, I've seen his streams are actually really fun. I mean, not to say that. Please don't go over and watch his stream. Please stay on this one and watch the games. Because I think he is streaming at the moment.
I don't see him online, I don't think, but I could be just missing something. But yeah, no, but he's a good player, like solid player. Usually hangs at around 100 LP to 150 LP, but often it's just playing really interesting decks, which is why he's sitting at 150 LP. I'm sure if he played meta, he'd be a bit higher.
Oh yeah, he's a really good player. He's just I don't think he plays tournaments a lot. I think he just has like just a lot of fun streaming, and that, to be honest, it's not even bad. It's really fun. Like you just have like. Anyway, so in regards to everything overall, so we are in lore Americas at the moment. So who are we trying to stream? Oh, okay, what's that? Okay, so I think it's. I'm just sorry, just trying to make sure we've got everything right. Bear with me just one moment. So kind of like one thing with landmarks coming out. So you have Targon's Peak at the moment. So what are your thoughts on like Targon's Peak? So it's like overall, because it can seem to like benefit you and benefit who you're going against as well.
Yeah, it's a funny deck. I think it's fun. I think it's hilarious. I think it's not great, but it's certainly a fun deck. You can climb to Masters on it, like by all means. I had a positive win rate with the deck in my climbs. I played it like for maybe 20 to 25 games, maybe probably a little less, maybe closer to 15 to 20 games, and I had a positive win rate on it. But you win like 5 in a row, and then you win like or lose like 3 in a row, and then you win like 2, and then you lose like 4. Like it's you hit your swings with it where you're like, oh, this is a great deck, tier 1, and then you're like, wait a minute, no, this is terrible. Why am I playing this deck?
Oh yeah, I kind of get what you mean, because like it's a card that you're playing. It's like, okay, it's like a costly card. You played it, but it kind of like your opponent's like, oh, you're great to play this card because it really benefits me as well. It's like
it's weird because you go into some matchups and you're like, well, if I get a turn 6 Aesol, I just win. And you play into other matchups and you're like, wow, I got a turn 6 0-mana Catalyst. Woohoo! And they get like a turn 6 0-mana FTR. And you're like, well, I guess I lose.
Yeah, it's not great. I've had some I think one where I had like a 0 cost ruination. I just like spent everything, just like baited it out, and like just like dropped that 0 cost and just surrendered. It's just like, I'm so happy they played that landmark.
Yeah, you can get some crazy stuff happening, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, but recently on ladder, what I've been doing is I've just recently I have been playing Tom Kench Soroka, and it's just been so toxic. for whoever I've just gone against, because it's just so anti-fun. Like probably for like me and them, because I'm like this game's not really competitive. You're just gonna like I'm just gonna constantly eat every single unit you're putting out. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Oh, it's so horrible to like imagine being the other person at the end of that, just constantly going into that. It's not great.
Yeah, I chatted to Mr. Emotional about it, who is a like we hang out some. He's a good player. I really enjoy chatting to him, and it's like one of his main decks. Him and I think it's New News played that deck a lot, and yeah, it's a toxic deck for sure. But we're
Yeah.
getting into the game here.
Oh, yeah, finally, we are in the game, so I'm sorry for the difficulties we've had with that. We are in round 6. Hopefully, this is the first game, and it's just been a really slow game. Okay, so it's looking like it's not really gone great for Janna. It's been going really good for Deech.
Yeah, okay, yeah. In terms of health, you're right. I'm looking at this like, wait,
Yeah.
no, Jenna's in a great spot. What do you mean? We got a Shen, we got a leveled Fiora. I don't know if this Fiora is a level up from a past Fiora, if it's 2 out of 4 or 3 out of 4 right now. Like we'll see, but this is a dangerous spot for Deech if this is about to be a Fiora level or Fiora win con.
Oh yeah, I get it, because like outside of like, let's see if you just like look over his deck like really quickly. So let me just try and bring this up right now. So Deech in this, yeah, I mean the only really thing he kind of has is this Hush, or like possibly some Tail Cascades, but
Ooh, that's really risky.
yeah, I was kind of thinking that, but I think like even if he does use, yeah, the thing is if he used Hush, Fiora would just go to like 4-3.
Yeah, the Hush would make it so the Fiora doesn't get the win con, but it would.
Yeah, she's trade with Diana, or at least have to force out a Pale Cascade. At this point, you're only forcing out one card.
That's a really interesting attack. I don't quite know why we're giving up our Shen.
Oh wow, and it's actually gone through. That's such a risky move by Jenna, and it paid off, and I am impressed.
I still don't know why we gave up our Shen. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, I guess I get where you're coming from. That you could have gone on Diana, and I feel like if you all wanted to make such a risky move as well, you could have.
Well,
just,
it was more the we could have with our dragon pulled the 3/2, and that way, the worst thing that happens is, Diana blocks Shen.
Yeah, I guess probably looking back at that, it's probably a bit of a mistake there, coming out by him. But
I will say,
yeah.
Well, between the 9-drop and Refuge, Spirit Refuge, we're probably going to get a Fiora win con here because we've got double deny and no Defy to deal with anything that Deech can pull up against this.
Ooh.
And he knows it. He can't play a unit. He can't play a unit until he has a way to deal with this.
Oh, yeah, the thing is, like, you could just like attack, yeah, because you're just drawing a single combat.
You could attack, or you can honestly just pass there. Like you're happy to pass back. You're happy to play your 9-mana card. And Deech still really cannot play a unit here because he knows, the opponent runs concerted strike. The opponent runs single combat.
Yeah, this is actually a really bad spot for Deech. Like, I'm wrong when I started this game, just because all I did was look at the help line and look at the units. This is actually such a great game for Janna right now.
Yep. The big question mark is going to be, well, so this is great for Jenna because he's committed to playing a way to deal with this now by playing that Living Legends.
But I feel like you could just spread his refuge in single combat because he's not trying to have a Hush at all.
Hush is the big punish to that is for sure.
I like the emote that's coming out from Deech though. Oh, and I like the level of this BM the players are showing each other. This is pretty funny.
This is an interesting spot because if Deech has Hush, that is an epic emo bait.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, because if Janna passes the turn, then Ooh, this is it's risky.
I
Do
think
you wanna do it?
the correct play here is pass, but the
Yeah.
play off that emote might be to play single combat.
Oh yeah, I do like it because he's doing something. He's playing mind games, and it just might work.
It might. I think the correct play here, I think, has to be pass. Because you have a 9-drop that's gonna swing in. This maybe it works. We'll see. There we go.
Oh yeah.
The mind games were not there.
Oh yeah, and that's actually a game one to Jenna right there, and yeah, I'm really impressed because like I don't know much of this player. I don't know what their rank is on ladder or anything. I'm not sure if we're able to check that at all.
Probably not, because I'm willing to bet you none of these players are masters right now. Just because.
I mean no, because if they're in platinum this season, then diamond, gold, sorry, no, gold, diamond, platinum, masters. But it's very luckily the curious is checking for us, so we'll get an answer shortly to that.
All right, so now we've got go hard into invoke. This is a very, very go hard favorite matchup. This is possibly
actually...
just a keep. This is a great hand.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking as well. You've just got 2 go hards. You get a glimpse as well. This is
a fantastic hand.
Raise your weapon, Sunwood.
Yeah, this is fine. I feel like he's thinking about not playing a turn and just skipping. But yeah, I feel like definitely the right move is to just play a unit. You can let them attack if you want. It's fine.
Yep, this is a very interesting matchup. The fact that you have TF is so good here, because the only answer to TF in Beach's deck that is not going to be invoked is Diana. It's the only thing that can deal with it.
Yeah, I think this is like such a good deck, and you've talked about this deck can be like a lot of things at once, but the one thing it really can't be is like a good removal. Like outside of solo presets.
It has very, very weak like fast speed removal.
Yeah, I feel like what you're kind of relying on is like your spacey sketcher, or you're just relying on your solo presets to like give you some removal cards. Outside of that, not a lot you're drawing.
We got the double go hard being played here. That means we now have, I believe it's 5 go hards in the deck.
Ooh. I don't like that he played it there. I mean, I would have liked to like wait. I guess like it could have been Pale Cascade if you did it on a Zoe, so it's not a bad overall.
No, I think that's perfect. I would not play Doom Beast here. I'd hold off on that, but
yeah, I feel like it'd be a bit too much.
Yeah, because you're not playing really an aggro game. I guess you can swing in for 3 here, which isn't bad. Like, it is a not like effectively free 3 damage.
I guess you get 5 overall from the unit. You do. I guess you get maximum value out of just playing that card now, so it's I guess it's okay.
Yep, and we're just gonna see that all healed right back up.
That's a shame. You don't like that to happen, but unfortunately it did.
We should see a blue card here.
Yeah, blue card. Yeah.
Go ahead and start looking for those go hards again. And what's crazy here is if he doesn't play Diana like this turn, like next turn, he can probably level TF.
Yeah, that's actually the insane part. Getting a nice Ruination as well is pretty okay to sit on.
So we'll see here if we see a Diana activator, some cheap unit or spell to go ahead and play our Diana.
I feel like Twisted Fate's card, you could just get rid of the Ruination with that. It draws a Zoe instead. You could still have Diana, because it'd still be baiting, to be honest.
Whoa, no Diana. Okay, so yeah, I think you instantly put that Ruination away.
Yeah, I feel like you can use a Glimpse on your keg, and then take away the Ruination.
Well, you can't do both now. You can only do one.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I thought he was sitting on 4.
I still like using the TF second spell.
I get what you mean, yeah.
using on ruination, getting rid of it, and then drawing 4 cards, or 3 cards, sorry, and then 4 with your actual draw, just to get that TF level up going.
Okay.
Ooh, and we're gonna see a Zoe level up attempt. This is interesting. And we will see the glimpse. That's really interesting. I think I would have much rather see the TF card here.
Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying, because like you're kind of just sitting on the ruination right now. It's not really going to do anything for you.
Yeah, the ruination doesn't do anything in this matchup for quite a while. And even when it does, a lot of times it doesn't, because it's going to be a Celestial that has Spell Shield. Interesting that he swings in with the TF.
Yeah, it's I feel like...
That's a Pale Cascade. That's not a Pale Cascade.
Okay. I've been watching just like a lot of like Janus plays, and I'm like, he's just really ballsy as a player, and I like it.
And there we lose our. Well, we could we flip the TF? I don't know what it's at. I don't think we can. We can't. This is why I would have liked playing TF spell last turn, because we would likely be flipping TF here.
Yeah, I get what you mean. That probably overall would have been the better play. So you could take the spell shield off Zoe. To be honest, Zoe's a bit too close to actually leveling up to probably pull it off.
Red card, or it would have to be like red card into next turn blue or next turn go hard.
I'm always up for a
That's probably the right move, yeah. If Jenner actually pulls off an upset win, I'm actually gonna be really impressed. It's gonna be really good. I don't think we've ever had like a lot of upsets in the tournament. There's always been like a tournament favorites just one.
We've had a few in NA, only because there's been games where we have really solid players like Cephalopod come in, or even Yangzera, and them not end up winning it. But I'm not sure so much about EU or the slot A. I haven't paid too much attention.
Oh yeah, I think like slot A, there's pretty like regular winners, like people you expect. Like if Sorry competes, usually you'll probably always win it. Yeah, I feel like, do you just want to use your pull shark here? Because I feel like it's not bad. You can.
Yeah, I like pretty much playing everything except Relation, and your Curse Keeper is good here. You want to just get a good attack, really, like a good attack setup. Because now you do kind of have to play an aggro game, right? Like you don't really have. You have a pack coming sooner or later. I think he runs one Ruination, or not Ruination, one Ladris in the deck.
Come closer. I don't
Check. Yep, only one Ladris in the deck. Yep, I like the Dibbies. Oh, it wasn't a Dibbies. Sorry, I totally missed that.
Oh yeah, it runs the one Ruination as well.
Yeah, we got the one Ruination, the one Ladris to be potentially really big.
Yeah, it's just hopefully, because he has 3 salvages, hopefully he doesn't toss that card.
Wow, that's a really interesting block, because it makes it so he can't Chronicle of Ruins his Curse Keeper, which is like a big deal in terms of pressure.
Yeah, I feel like probably not a great idea to play that.
Trying to wonder what that might signal. Why would you block like that?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of just trying to understand it. Especially just like attacking with your Curse Keeper.
Well, I think attacking with the Curse Keeper was fine, because like most players aren't gonna block the Curse Keeper. They're gonna block either a 2/2 or a 3/2 or something like that. And we see Zoe back.
It's just got so many of these Zoe cards. You just hate it because I think it's got rid of like. Oh wait, you do have the zap. Oh, and here come the Cosmic Rays.
So this is another reason I don't know why we block the Curse Keeper, because we would have just killed the Curse Keeper.
Oh, it gets pack your bag, so it's not bad. But I don't think.
We do get a Zoe hit here. Nice 2 damage in. Or he could
Yeah,
block.
yeah,
but
but
he
it
should
can be
flip
blocked
his
by
overhead.
the zap. Yeah, I feel like that's something you should do. If you have to pack your bags. The thing is, though, wait, no, the zap only works when you play it. So yeah, when you chronicler the zap, you draw a card.
Yep, so we get a second one, which we'll turn into a go hard.
I feel like playing it now is not bad. You got the second one in hand.
Yeah, I
They
think
do be-
it's smart because you're like you often want to keep it for like a pack your bags turn with that bigger board development or a like a Ladros, but you don't have those options here, so playing it now just makes a lot of sense.
I think it's even if he doesn't like okay, he does get a mount and go. That's fine.
So we're gonna get in for looks like 5. Oh, maybe not. Spacey Sketcher.
Ooh, and if he draws out the serpent as well, that's the full.
And here's
That's
where I
actually
pick
not
my
bad.
constellation.
All right, so we did play go hard there, so we could just remove a blocker, and we're gonna hopefully see an attack getting in for 5 damage. We shouldn't see the open attack. Developing doesn't feel good here at all.
Wait, that can actually go to 7 with Dreadway. Sorry, Dreadway, Doom Beast.
Yeah, but Doombeast still put the opponent down into 1, which is a really nice spot to be in. We do have a little bit of refuel happening with our Pool Shark.
Oh yeah, it's not bad. Hopefully that can draw something.
Yep, we're really looking for more go hards, draw spells, or a Ladros is kind of what we really want here. We have seen 2 star shaping, so there's not a whole lot of healing in the deck. And we do see a massive win con happening, and we haven't seen a hush yet, so that can likely just hush the zap into a very nice hit for 12.
The thing is, do you play your Doom Beast now? Because looking at his deck, he does have 3 Dreadways. So we know he plays it, okay?
You mean 3 Doombeast?
Oh wait, no, no, he has a. I thought what he could have
Oh,
done.
the deck
is-
can to make it. Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yep, I like playing the salvage here. We can potentially find a Doombeast to go ahead and force lethal. We found Ladros.
Ooh.
So
Yeah,
it's
not bad
heal
at
or
all.
dead here. This could be game. And that's the game.
Yeah, Deech kind of seems to be one of those players where if he's losing, he's gonna emote, and it actually goes to Jenna. The insane. And I didn't expect this at all. What about you?
Nah, I mean, once we saw the first win, I thought this was going to be potentially Jenna favored, just because, like I said, Go Hard is favored in this matchup. But all in all, I was very, very impressed with how Jenna played. Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm pleasantly surprised. Yep, no, very, very, very impressed with the plays. And Deet shouldn't be upset. He had a very good run. Going 7-1 or 6-1 in a tournament is a very good record.
Yeah, I think Deech, he played fine. I think Jenna he played so ballsy, like a lot. So boom, second, I'm just gonna try and make sure no one spoils the result because he got a 5-minute delay. Because we've had that before where match results have been posted and people have just gone in there. Just posted their match results.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah, wait.
So it looks like we are seeing if we're going to potentially get an interview or not.
Yeah. So we are gonna get an interview. The results have been posted. I just asked Jenna if they could just delete them real quick. Oh yeah. So I think Curious is just setting one up. Yeah. So where is it? I think. So overall, I really liked it. Yeah. So what did you like most about that? Like the entire thing? Just that matchup.
That matchup in particular, or the entire tournament?
It's like no, just that matchup, just in particular, just for the moment.
I will say the thing that I'm impressed that I wouldn't have done if I was in Jetta's shoes that clearly worked out was swinging with the TF as much as Jen did. Like I think it was like 3 times the TF went in for a strike, and I'm the type of player who says, "Nah, if you flip TF, you win the game." Not he doesn't matter. Jenna's going in and getting the 2 damage in multiple times.
Yeah, it was just there's like so like defining moments where the game could have just completely been flipped, especially when he spirit refuged into single combat as
A
well.
hush there just ends the game. Now we know that the hush wasn't there the turn before. We know that because he would have played it, but doesn't matter. Just the guts that we saw from Jenna, very impressive.
Yeah, it's just a very ballsy player, and I'm still a bit like surprised. Like, because like you think is like if you think about it, and if you're like viewing, and if you're like coaching someone, like those are all the things you tell someone not to do. And in this instance, like you should have done it because it actually won you the game. But in future, please never do that again.
but the thing is, it worked this time. Like that is one thing that you'll see from a lot of like the typical top tier players is they'll have games they lose because they overplayed around things. And there's a player in EU, what's his name? Pokrovok, I think it is, who is known as a player who doesn't really play around as much as other players do. He'll, take lines that say, "Well, I win the game if you don't have this card. If you have it, I probably lose, but I win if you don't." And he'll take those lines and say, "Have the answer or I win."
Yeah, I kind of get that. That's like the first time I ever got into Diamond. I didn't know much about the game. I was just like, this card's stronger than that card. I'm gonna trade into that. Okay, I've won. I'm just gonna throw everything at you. I was just like, I didn't learn about like Oracle Eye until I was Diamond 2. I was like, wow. Oh my god. There's so much I actually didn't understand about the game at all. It's crazy.
Yep. No, it was overall some very, very good games. Very, very impressed with with Jenna as a player. Very impressed with how I think it's how she performed. I could be wrong.
It could be, it could not be. Who knows? Because at first I thought it was like, is it short for Jenna or Jana as like the champion?
True. It could be Jenna. So it does look like we are not getting an interview, sadly.
Yeah, that's completely fine. So we can bring other people on as well if other people are willing to be interviewed. Because I know one person I do want to speak to in particular is Wayne. Just because of that sick game too, it was actually insane. So I'm just wondering if he could actually come on just to talk about that a little bit. It wouldn't be too bad. But if we have to get him, it's up for debate. It seems to have wanted. I've asked, so we see if we can get that or not. But overall, that tournament, it's like even if you look at the chat, it's just like people are just like actually just like insane that they won. Deech, I still think like you played like incredibly well. I'm like happy you came. It was really sick, and I'm kind of like hopefully like Jenna in the future. I'm hoping to see them in future tournaments. Either him or her, I'm really hyped, because that was an impressive performance. That was a ballsy performance, and the decks that you took were just like so good, and like the comprehension of this like, I understanding the decks and just knowing when to take risks as well was just amazing.
Yeah, overall, very, very good. Very good play by all the players involved, and really, really happy to see a good success for the end of 2020 for the rLOR, and hopefully a good start of the season 5. I know I didn't play in this one because I didn't unfortunately have time for the Swiss, but both Deech and Jenna, watch out. I'll be coming in future weeks, so be good to get some games in.
Oh yeah, and just to note, just before we wrap up, by the way, first of all, thanks for Riot for kind of like all the segments before. It was the massive hype just to like season 5 week 1. So it will be good. And just to note, we are still currently looking for a co-caster because MTalk does want to play in tournaments. So if anyone does want to play, just speak to either Curious or Alice, and they'll be able to help you out from there. And anyway, thanks everybody for competing today. It was been absolutely amazing, and we'll see you all next week.
All right, see you guys.